Dude,
Yeah.
TJ, you ready?
It's rock and roll, man.
Man, I'm excited for this one. I found you a while back. We've been going back and forth and planned a trip out here. You have quite the story. You were a law enforcement officer and you got shot 6 times while serving a warrant.
Yeah.
So I definitely, obviously, we're going to jump into that side of things. But first, let's just, dude, we're pretty relaxed here. We just shoot the shit, and we're just going to talk a little bit about your life, and we'll jump into it. But first, something I do on the podcast that I'm always going to do no matter what, how big or small we are, is I want to offer law enforcement and veterans opportunities to have businesses to send us stuff to give to guests. Oh, cool. And so this actually, I might have a shirt for you. It's the God-Fearing Lifting Club. He's a law enforcement officer out of California. Nice. Trying to get guys back into the gym through Christ and, you know, being able to share the word of God and lifting and all that good stuff. So he's an awesome dude, active duty still. Then we got the War Machine. He was a Marine, combat Marine, got out, became a cop, and he got also shot in the line of duty. So you guys have something in common. And then Sea State Coffee. He's a recon Marine. He's here local. So he got out, started Sea State Coffee. I'll send you home with some cold brews and some coffee grounds if you guys are into the coffee thing. So it was actually the first coffee I've ever drank. He called me out on my episode. So
yeah,
and forced me to do it. And
are you hooked now?
No. It's great coffee. I'm just not a coffee guy. I've
addiction now. All of a sudden?
I don't have. That was what weird dude overseas. Like no caffeine, no coffee, rare, didn't smoke, didn't dip.
Especially for like military and stuff like that.
There was like 3 of us in the whole platoon.
Wow, man.
And I was sunflower seeds. I just chewed holes in my cheek. Yeah. My whole top of my vehicle was covered in sunflower seeds. I'd have to like swipe, brush it off every day.
Yeah, I get that with baseball season at my house.
No, I feel it though. Well, dude, I guess let's just jump. Oh, and look, before you got a book, so I want to definitely touch into that and talk about your story, which I'm sure we'll cover some of that along this way as well. So, dude, where are you from? And let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, man. Like most people, small town America, dude. Milford, Delaware.
Milford, Delaware.
Milford, Delaware. Population's probably around 15,000. Grew up there. To give you a point of reference, Dover Air Force Base, it's about 25 minutes south of the Dover Air Force Base. Okay. Hour and a half south of Philly. Grew up there. Had a younger brother, 5 years younger than me. Mom was stay-at-home mom. And my dad was started out as over-the-road trucker.
Oh, okay.
Until I was like probably around 6 or 7 maybe when my brother came around, and then got in, construction work, blacktopping driveways, pavement, and working on cars, all that kind of stuff. And then about the time I got to high school, he took a job with the city in the street department. So he was in charge of like trash collection, street construction, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's pretty much my childhood, man. Grew up playing sports. That was pretty much all I cared about.
What sports?
Baseball, football. And then in high school, my junior and senior, I got into track and field.
Okay. Yeah, you look like a runner.
Yeah.
Not built for that.
Yeah, my knees don't like it anymore, but I like it. Yeah.
No, it's like when you hit 40, everything they talk about it, and you're like,
it just starts falling off, man.
Starts cracking and popping.
Yeah, it's terrible, dude. Terrible.
So college.
Yeah.
Did you go off to college?
I did community college for a semester and a half. Hated it.
Okay.
As expected.
Mm-hmm.
And I just gave up on that. Went back to some odd-end jobs here and there until I was fortunate enough to get hired to go police academy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's jump into it. What made you want to be a cop?
Starting out, man, like in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, I just liked sports, you know what I mean? I hated school. But I was around law enforcement quite a bit because my parents had friends in law enforcement, so I was always around cops from time to time. My dad used to watch Cops on TV all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the big show back then. So watching that kind of shit all the time. So around the time I started, after I graduated high school, like we have a lot of beach towns where I live.
Okay.
So big vacation spot, man. So like they have programs there with the departments. It's called like seasonal policing. So you got to be 18. And you work as a seasonal cop, so you do like minor misdemeanor arrests. You do some traffic stuff.
You just dealing with drunks and stuff on the beach.
Yeah, you deal with drunks,
like
man. Like the town I worked in was called Dewey Beach.
Yeah.
So it's like a summer party town for college kids. So you're dealing with drunks, digital release fights, stupid shit like that. So it's kind of like a taste of it. You get a taste of it. You don't carry a firearm.
Okay.
You get back then you got a baton and some capstone, and you went to town. That was it.
Are you getting paid, or is this volunteer work?
Nah, you get like minimum wage.
Okay. I mean, that's a pretty awesome program, though. I mean,
Yeah.
they get a bunch of extra help for
It was
really
cool,
cheap,
dude.
and you
Yeah,
get to learn some experiences.
I drove the paddy wagon, so I drove around from street to street just picking up drunks all night. It
Oh, God.
was great, dude. It was a great gig, man.
Yeah,
For
so you're just
18, 19 years old. It was awesome, man.
And you're making money and you're learning.
Yeah, dude, you're making money. You're living at the beach. You can't beat it, man.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
How long did you do that for?
I started that when I was 18. Did that for 3 summers. And then the summer I turned 21, I went into police academy.
Really?
Yeah, so very young. Yeah.
So do you know a lot of the guys by this point, since you have 3 years of helping, or is it a completely different department that you joined?
Nah, so I got hired by that department, by Dewey Beach.
Okay.
And then they sent me to the academy, which in Delaware, we have a few academies now, but back then pretty much everybody went to the Delaware State Police Academy, so that's where I went. So you're mixed with like guys from other towns, state troopers, you're all in there together, bunking one another. So I knew a couple guys that were in there, but that were also like summer cops, like seasonals and like the other surrounding agencies.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know anybody else. Really, I didn't know too many people in there. Nah, I was just 21, man. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. Got lucky. Probably too young for police academy, you know.
Okay, so the Northeast is pretty political.
Yeah.
When it comes to firefighting and cops, was it like that in your area? The only reason I ask is like where I'm from, like you have to be born into it or come highly recommended kind of deal. It's like, oh boy.
Delaware's weird, man. It's like that's very like, you know, hometown homeboy, you know, kind of thing. But as far as like Delaware State Police was, they always like seem to hire outside the state for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, a lot of it, like the smaller agencies, it was always like who you know, this and that and the other. Yeah, it was kind of competitive. It's really back then. It was really hard to get hired as a cop. Not so much nowadays because nobody wants to do it.
For sure.
But back then it was really tough. So I was really fortunate to get on. But you know, that's where putting in my time there as a seasonal officer paid off. You know, that's what got me in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a smart play.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Did you know when you were doing the seasonal stuff that like, hey, I want to be a cop, and were you waiting for a spot to open up, or was it just something to kill the summer and make some money?
When I first started my first summer, I was like, I'll try it out. I don't know what the hell else I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
It's the only thing I really had interest in. And then I was like, yeah, this is it. This is the ticket. I want to do this shit.
So you thought it was fun?
Yeah, it was blast, dude. Yeah.
I mean, I could see 18, 19-year-old kid just driving, picking up drunk people.
Yeah, dude, it was great. Yeah.
I feel like that.
And then you're
that
living there, so when on your nights off, you're going out to the bars, hanging out. You're 21, you know, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Getting in with fake IDs and shit. You know, I mean, that's what you did.
And then the next day you're arresting somebody for doing the same shit.
Yeah. 19 years old. That's what you're doing, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, that's what you do. You're a hypocrite back then.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is what it is.
Hey, it's facts are facts. I'd have been doing the same shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you know how to get away and deal with
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, you just learn the inside of the
most
system.
of the bars knew who you were, so they just let you in anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the way it was. Like we're talking about, 25 fucking years ago or something.
Oh, for sure. Things were a lot different, especially back in the small towns.
Yeah, dude.
I'm from a really small town. It hasn't changed much, but it's that, the good old boy feel, and you get away with so much.
You get away with everything.
Yeah. One or two cops in town, that's it, and you know where they're at all times. Yeah. That was such a fun way of growing up. Now it's like, bro, you can't get away with nothing. Nothing.
Phones everywhere.
Cameras, Ring doorbells. You can't even.
One mistake's gonna haunt you forever. Whereas like all my mistakes, nobody even remembers them or knows.
Just stories. They're just
Yeah.
stories. Yeah.
Myths.
Yep. Yeah. Myths and legends, and now it's like everything. You can't get away. I tell my kids all the time, like, God, man, like we were the last good generation when it came to just mischief and fun. Like you can do so much now. It's
wild, man.
Can't even walk through the mountains anymore. You're looking for trail cams or so
Truth, dude. Yeah, you're looking for cameras everywhere you go.
Yeah.
No, it's wild.
Yeah, it is. So the academy.
Yeah.
You had a little bit of experience.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
Yeah.
Was that like a culture shock going into it? Was it a very militaristic type of academy where they were like,
it's very militaristic. Okay. You PT at 06. You're up all night. They're fucking with you at night.
Are they? How so?
They put you to bed late, especially like the first few weeks. Like they're putting you to bed late. They're waking you up in the middle of the night, taking you on runs, emptying your racks, throwing your shit around, that kind of shit.
So you're like full on boot camp style.
Yeah, it's very DSP's academy is very like boot camp style.
Okay.
I don't know how much it is now because everything's changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's still pretty similar, but generations. Every generation is the worst, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's very military. Like for me, it was It was eye-opening for me because I didn't have a lot of life experience, dude. Like, I lived at home, graduated high school, went to community college, did this, that, and the other, and then, boom, 21.
Here you are.
In the academy, and I'm like, fuck, man. Yeah, it was a culture shock for sure.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
Are you guys in squad bays, or how was it? How was
One
it?
big open squad bay.
Okay.
Racks, boom.
Yep.
Yeah.
How was that? And the reason I ask is because, like, in our MOS, it doesn't exist anymore, but we were one of the last MOSs in the Marine Corps to still have students in squad base. So, like, I mean, you're talking 75 people, dudes in one room, all racked up in bunks.
I think we had like 52 in my class, and it was just a giant room of bunk beds, dude, like metal racks, just like you see at, like, Paris Island Browser or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a culture shock, man. And then you go in the bathroom, it's just like 7 shower heads and one's broken. You know what I mean? Like, it was just fucked up. You know what I mean? Big culture shock.
Oh, yeah. Were you rethinking life at this point, or were you all about it?
Nah, I mean, I was in it for a long haul.
Yeah.
My first thought was, like, I just got to get through this shit. And it really wasn't that bad. Like, once you figure out, like, it's just a game.
It is.
You know what I mean? Once you figure it out, you're good. You know, by, like, as long as everyone's got their shit together by, like, going through, like, week 6, as long as you get it together, like, they'll back off of you, and then you just kind of laugh at all the stupid shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, you just roll with it. It was fun.
How was the tase and pepper spray portion of it? I always like to ask because everybody's so different with it.
Well, back then, we didn't have tasers yet.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was just pepper spray.
Okay.
I had already been sprayed as a summer cop, so I knew what to expect.
Oh, so they made you do that?
Oh, yeah, you got sprayed as that. You got sprayed and all that shit in summer.
Okay,
summer
okay.
Cop, yeah. So I knew what to expect, but it still sucks.
Yeah.
That shit's brutal.
Yeah.
And in the academy, it's like they put a whole fucking bottle on you or something. They just empty it on you. You know, give me the fire hose and shit. But, yeah, it was funny to watch other people that hadn't had it.
Oh.
I was used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, it wasn't that bad. Yeah.
Some guys trip, they lose it. You know, they just come unglued, and other guys, it sucks no matter what. But it's fun to sit back. I used to teach a lot of courses where we would do a lot of like knife fighting and weapons fighting, and then we'd have to spray these guys down, and you get it on you, you know, when you're fighting these guys as an instructor. Yeah. But good Lord, I mean, every single person is completely different. I mean, you see some big yoke dude walk up and they get hosed down and they just lose it.
They
lose it, like freaking out. You're like, oh my God, everyone's like, this dude's gonna put up a fight, and they're always the ones that just lose it.
Yeah.
They could just come completely unglued.
It's a funny scene to watch, man. They just line you up there and they just go down the line. Yeah.
We got screwed one time. We were doing a gas chamber before our deployment. And we're all young, dumb Marines. And afterward, they, because they have these capsules and they have a little burner and they throw this capsule, like little crystal capsules on there, and it just turns it to a cloud. And so they're like, everybody's done for the day. We've already gone through, and it's not bad. You know, you take your mask off. You got to like sing some Marine Corps hymn or some stupid shit, and then put your mask back on, don, clear it, and all that.
Yeah.
So you have a whole battalion of Marines going through, so it takes hours. So by the time you're gone through, you're like, okay, we're good. And then you start watching. Well, at the end, they were like, hey, who's the baddest dudes? Who are the toughest Marines? And of course, like, all of us idiots were like, yeah, my platoon were all like, yeah, we're the baddest dudes here. And they're like, we're going to let you guys run through. Who wants to run through no mask? And we're like, oh, we got it. We've already done the gas chamber today. Like, no problem. Well, what's left over, those capsules, they just dump on that burner, and they didn't tell us. And so we all stack up, no masks, nothing. We're just going to run in one door and run through, do a lap through, and run out the back door. These dudes lock us in there. So we run in, and they lock all the doors, and you can't even see like your hand in front of your face. And we didn't know. They set us up. And so they had cameras, and
I knew what they were doing.
Everybody's waiting. And so they finally opened the door up, and we just come piling out. I got to get the video. My buddy has it. Like, there's just, I'm talking snot just pouring out. Dudes are crawling out on their hands. Like, it was, they got us. That was the last time I ever volunteered to run back through a gas chamber again. There was lessons were learned that day. It was quite the experience. But I mean, that's like the typical Marine shit to do, you know. It is
experience.
So you graduate. Well, do you do field training officer ride, or how did it work back then?
Yeah, so it was 6 months of the academy. You get out. And
your academy was 6 months long?
Yeah, it was like 24 weeks, I guess.
Good Lord. Okay.
6 months. Started in September, finished like midway through February or something like that. And then you get out and do 12 weeks of your FTO program. I think mine was even shorter. I think mine was like 8 weeks because Dewey was like a 9-man department.
Okay.
And I graduated in the winter, and there ain't shit there in the winter. Like, everything's closed. There's like one bar open like on Friday and Saturday. It's like I said, there's nothing there in the wintertime.
So you guys are just chilling.
You're chilling, dude. It's like, yeah, you're not doing much in the winter. Summertime, you're bumping.
Oh, for
Wintertime, it's like you got a whole winter break, pretty much. Yeah.
And
So
there's how many guys run this department?
Like 9 of us.
So it's hard to get into. Then you got lucky.
Yeah, like you gotta like be there as a seasonal or like know somebody.
Okay.
They don't just hire like random people that walk in the door. That
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then in the summertime, it's a lot smaller now. I think now they have like 10 or 15 summer cops. Back then it was like 40.
Okay.
So it's lots changed since then. But yeah, so graduated, did like maybe 8 weeks at the most probably on FTO. And then it was like, all right, you're good. Cut you loose.
Really?
Then you just kind of find your way. Yeah.
What was your first day out? I mean, you have some experience already, but now you're certified. You're sworn in as a law enforcement
Dude, I'll tell you the
officer.
weirdest thing, and it started like the day of graduation, was when you load your gun up and you put it on, you're like walking around with a gun hanging off your hip, like a 45 cal Glock hanging off your hip, and you're like, this is weird, man. You know what I mean? Because I've never walked around like open carry before or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just a strange feeling.
I've heard this before from guys.
Have you?
Yeah. Like
It was weird, man, because like I wasn't like a big gun enthusiast growing up. Like I went shooting once in a while with my dad or something. That's about it. So that's like, oh, here's graduation day. Get your gear on. Boom. Here's your gun. Load it. Put in your holster. And then you go to work and you're like, oh man, this is
real.
This is heavy. You know, this is real. Yeah, shit's getting real now. So I remember that feeling. It was odd. You get used to it quick.
'Cause people are looking at you different now.
Yeah, people are looking at you different, you know, and you're just like, feel like you're gardening it all the time. You know what I mean? So that was a little tricky to get used to, but you know, it's like anything else, you get used to it. And then I don't even remember my first day at work. It was kind of like load up in the car and we'll go pull some cars over, I guess, kind of deal. Wasn't anything like crazy.
Yeah.
And then at nighttime, it was like, all right, we got to try to find you some DUIs or something. So got a couple DUIs, you know, on training, which I hated DUIs. They were terrible.
Why?
Just so much to it, dude. It's almost like if you lock someone for a DUI, it's like you're on trial. You know what I mean? Like when you go to court with them, it's like, where did this cop fuck up somewhere? He had to fuck something up.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's always like that at court. But DUIs are just the worst. I hate it. Like all the NHTSA testing, like the eyes and the walk and turn, all that kind of shit. I just hated it.
And if you don't do that by the book,
it's gone.
case dismissed.
Done. Yeah, you might as well just not even worry about it. Done deal.
And it could be the slightest little thing.
Slightest little thing, man. Lawyers eat it up. Boom.
Did you ever have a case like that where you're like, fuck, that somebody...
I had luckily, I never had to go testify. I think I testified in one DUI trial. That was it. I think the rest of it was like pled out or thrown out.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it, man. Like I avoided them at all costs. I just hated it. It was not my thing.
That is the craziest part about like our judicial system or the courts, whatever it is. But I mean, you can have somebody dead to rights and on camera, everything, but one, you don't read the Miranda rights correctly or miss something. I mean, and then they're free to go like that.
That was the other thing back then. Like we didn't even have cameras.
Yeah.
We didn't have cameras in the car.
So you're old school policing.
Old school,
back
dude.
then.
Old school. No cameras in the car. The old like light bar on top. I think they were called Street Hawks. They were like, when you turned them on, they were like big blocky ones. And when you turned them on, it was like loud, like you could hear it. It was terrible, dude. It was terrible. You know, because it's like,
What year was this?
This is 03, but my car and stuff and my lights were like from the 90s. You know what I mean? So it was like, I remember that big ass thing just making that noise. Like when you're on the radio trying to talk, and you can't even hear anything because it's just like gearing.
Okay.
Terrible, dude.
Yeah.
Awful. Old school, man. I love
Yeah.
it. It's cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, but that was like real police work. That
Yeah,
now,
old school
now
Crown
it's.
Vics and stuff. Now they're driving around in Priuses and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
I just saw some video of this. I don't know. It had to have been out of Florida.
Yeah.
This cop car comes like drifting, a Corvette comes drifting, and then this like,
Yeah.
what the hell was it? Like a Dodge Raptor, like all souped up. I'm like, these motherfuckers
Yeah.
are driving around in Corvettes
Dude,
and
it's
souped
wild.
up trucks now. Like,
Crazy shit,
good
man.
for the departments,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Now they got like electric cars and shit out there.
they got Teslas.
I'm
Like,
like, just give me like a 98 Crown Vic and I'm good to go.
you can just beat the crap out of
the
it
shit
and
out
not
of
have
it,
to
yeah.
worry about
I hated when they
anything.
got rid of those things. I hated it.
So you transitioned from old school. When I say old school police work, I mean it like
It was like the end of like that era of old school.
you were able to get away with a lot more, and then
You didn't have to worry about so much.
Yeah.
Like how you talk to people exactly. You know what I mean? Because, to be honest, in police work, dude, people get ate up on this, like how you talk to someone. Well, depending on who you're dealing with is how you're going to talk to them. You know what I mean? I'm not going to pull over an 80-year-old woman and talk to her in a way that I'm going to talk to some street idiot who's got guns in the car. Hello, sir. Like, that shit doesn't work. You got to get on their level.
So there's a term for it, which I just learned, like code switching.
Code switching. Okay, I haven't heard that one.
I had Tyler, he was a cop that we had on, and he talked about it, and it was a big deal in the community because a lot of cops disagreed with code. They say you should talk to everybody the same.
Yeah, some people say that. I think.
And then there was a huge other side of this was like, dude, you can't walk up to an 80-year-old woman the same that you walk up to a gangbanger.
No, you can't, dude.
So you agree with this?
100%. Yeah,
okay.
100%. At 19 years of experience, 100% agree with that. And I learned that real quick.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Different. You can't, people don't, because some people take offense to it, man. Some people take offense to that. If you go up to someone, as crazy as it may sound, you go up to someone from a different kind of life.
Yeah.
And because they take it as you're talking down to them.
Okay.
If you try to talk like you're all high and mighty with these big fancy words, right? They take offense to it. Some people do, you know? So you have to get down to their level and let them see that, not that you're one of them, but you're human. You're not a robot. You speak like they do. You understand things that they understand. You have to get on their level. You know what I mean? And I think that's important with at any age person you're talking to or where they come from. You have to be able to relate to them. You know what I mean?
You got to mirror and match. I mean, it makes you just a better person to be able to relate and get on someone's level.
Yeah.
And when it comes to de-escalating situations, I feel it's a huge.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I never even knew there was like a term for it until
I haven't heard code switching, but I like that.
I believe it's called code switching. I'll have to look and see, but and a lot of guys like I found it interesting because to me it makes sense, especially if you're working outside of a city where you're kind of crossing into rural versus.
But now guys are screwed with that with all these cameras, and I'm not knocking cameras because there's benefits to them.
Okay.
I'm not anti body cam. But it does change change policing for better and worse. There's pros and cons to everything, right?
How so?
Well, I mean, the way you talk to people now, it's like you go and talk to someone on their level, they might not take offense to it, but your administration is going to because you just said the word shit to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, give me a break, man. And now you're under IA investigation and getting wrote up and suspended for 4 hours because you used the word shit or something stupid. I'm using that as an example. But, and then, you know, I mean, just things like that, just how you handle yourself and present yourself to people. And I'm not saying like you're going to do something bad, but if you do something that they don't like,
and someone complains, now you're hammered because you were trying to get on someone's level so that they can understand. You know, if someone's acting up, being crazy and acting a fool, am I going to sit there and sir them? No, I'm going to tell them to sit the hell down and shut the fuck up because that's what they need to hear. That's what they understand. You know what I mean? It's like if you have a kid and your kid's acting up and going crazy, are you going to be like, come on, buddy? No, you're going to get on their level and say, sit your ass down there and do what you're told to do, right? Yeah.
What's the difference? That's the way I look at it.
I feel the biggest problem with law enforcement today is the administrative side of the departments.
Fucking awful, dude.
The more I do this podcast, the more law enforcement officers we talk to, I feel the common denominator of what ruins careers, what gets guys in trouble, why guys are hesitating, not reacting the way they should is because of the administration that is running those departments 100%. that have completely sold out.
Yep.
And now they're a yes sir and they're doing whatever they can for kickbacks. Yep. I mean, there's so many layers in that I've kind of like started listening to the cops talking, and it all comes back down to
it's toxic leadership,
admin. Man. And I don't want to say leadership because they're not leaders. It's
they're not being leaders.
They're not being leaders.
They're not.
Like you take these chiefs. I mean, I have so many people reach out that are just talk about how, oh, chief of my police, like the guy's having an affair. He's doing this. He's taking bribes from. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? Like, you know, the amount of feedback we get from. I'm sure we'll get it from this episode. Yeah. It's wild, and it's like, what are we doing to change this? Like
nothing. How? Absolutely nothing. They're doing absolutely nothing. If anything, it's getting worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's all political driven.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Everything falls to politics. You know? I mean, what do you think? How do you become chief? You're appointed by whether it's the state government or the county government or the city government, town, whatever it may be. That government is appointing you to that position. Why are they appointing you there? Because you're who they want, because they can control you. Right? Think about it. That's what it's not voted. You know what I mean? They pick who they want to pick. It's an appointed position. Just like a sheriff, right? Sheriffs run They're political figures. They run for office. You know, chiefs of police don't. You apply and you're hired, but you're still picked by a city council or a mayor or a governor or whatever it may be.
What does that do to morale inside of a station when you're fighting like for your life just on every call because you're afraid that someone's going to say something and then now all of a sudden you're the bad guy?
Oh, it's terrible, dude. And it's the end of police work. It's the end of police work, man. It's getting out of control. That's why, that's one of the reasons why you don't see a lot of people wanting to be cops anymore. You can go get a job as a cop anywhere because nobody's applying for it. You know what I mean? Nobody's applying for it. For like the academy I went through with 50 some guys, like, and now like the last class I went and spoke at had like 17.
Really?
Yeah, dude. They're just not there. The applicants aren't there.
You can't blame them.
No, you can't blame them at all.
You couldn't, and I mean this with all disrespect, you couldn't pay me enough money to be a fucking cop.
Nope. Not right now. I'm glad I'm out.
Old school police work where you can snatch dudes up and
get your point across. You could do the job.
You can police. Yeah. And that's where it's got to be so frustrating. It's frustrating just hearing the stories, but you get these guys that are working more like, inner city stuff where you have to, you got to be on their level. You got to be able to talk to them a certain way.
Yeah, man.
You got to be able to put hands on and snatch some dudes up if you need to. But then at the same time, you could also be cool with them and you're on the same level as long as they're showing you respect. I mean, there's a lot of relationships like that, but these guys are getting hammered for having a relationship with these. Why would you want everybody to be your enemy?
It's wild, man.
But it almost like this admin, like the more trouble that is caused, like, I don't know if it comes down to funding, they get, it's weird.
Funding is always an issue in first responder world, especially law enforcement.
For sure.
It's just terrible. Like that whole movement for like defund the police, all that kind of shit. Like, don't defund them, dude. Give them more money. Like, there's no money for training. Yeah. My whole career, I saw hey, can I go to this training? No. Go find free training at this place. That's like the same thing you take every year. It's just monotonous. It doesn't do anything for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's terrible, man.
That's another whole thing. I mean, I've talked about it on this show before, but when the whole defund the police thing came out, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I've had my run-ins with law enforcement over the years. I used to run from cops all the time on my bike. Like my little one, we were right I'm like, hey, if cops come after, like, think about how little.
I did too. When I was younger. Yeah.
It was just how I grew up, and like doing wheelies and getting caught, chased. That was all that my trouble caused by me.
Right.
But when this whole defund the police thing came out, the first thing was like, if we're bitching about these cops not arresting people properly, not being able to handle weapons correctly, not being able to de-escalate situations, if we take the money away, they're getting even less training. If we fund the police and give them all of the ability to go through all the training and de-escalation, how to talk situations down, everything that cops need to do to the highest standard, and they're going through those trainings, then I feel all the responsibility falls on our law enforcement officers because they've had the chance to go through all their training. You're not spending military guys out with no training and sending them into a town and they waste the whole entire town and be like, oh, fuck, man, should have thought that one through. Like, you have to give these guys the training. But when we're taking it away, like, it never made any sense to me how anybody would sit there and be like, yeah, let's take the money away from law enforcement officers and expect them to do better.
Yeah. It makes no sense, dude.
And that people were like, yeah, this is a great idea.
Yeah. It's because they want to get rid of cops. That's what it was. That side of the aisle wants to get rid of cops.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
All this land.
And it's working.
Yeah, it has worked. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at it. I mean, police is down. Applications are down. Crime's up. I mean, it's terrible, man.
I hear guys like, yeah, I was thinking about being a cop. I got a buddy of mine, his son wants to be a cop. And I was like, why?
No.
Join the fucking military. Go be an electrician.
Yeah. I tell my kid all the time, I'm like, I didn't go, I wasn't in the military, but I'd rather have him go serve in the military and find a job there than go be a cop.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
And it's sad that it's like that.
Yeah.
Because who was the first people that we call?
Yeah. Yep. And then look at some of the cops that show up to you. How do they look?
Mm-hmm.
Terrible. Out of shape. Look like dog shit. Chew bubble gum. Uniform hanging out everywhere. There's no PT standards anymore anywhere. It's terrible. It drives me nuts, man. And how do you
take somebody serious when they get out of their car
looking like chew bubble gum?
And they got they got 5 pounds of shit stuffed in, or 10 pounds of shit stuffed in a 5-pound bag.
Yep. It's terrible.
And what is this guy gonna do? That's the first thing I think. What's that guy gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. That's how you protect yourself.
I can outwalk him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. Exactly. It's terrible.
I think our law enforcement should almost fall under military in some sort of way. I think it should be a branch that comes off of it. That, I mean, you go to all these other countries, all of their law enforcement are all military.
A lot of them have like national police forces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have like, the U.S. Marshals or like the DEA or whatever, like a national police force. I'm not saying they should or shouldn't have one, but that's what a lot of countries do. They have one police department for the country. You know what I mean?
And that way your standards, you can hold standards across the board.
Yeah, right? And now you have like all these different agencies across the entire country all operating different ways.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, I'm not saying one's good or one's bad or one's better than the other. I don't know, but I'm just saying compared to how other countries do it.
Yeah, it seems like it would make sense, but it's like we have to do something because I feel the decline,
everyone's on a different page.
The decline right now is scary. I mean, I was talking to a guy not too long ago, and he went through his class, and there was hundreds of people in his class, and he said the same thing. He went back down, and there was like 6 people, and this was in Texas, a department in Texas, and he's like, "Yes,
God, dude,
6 people graduated or something like that." I'm like, how do you sustain your numbers like that,
dude? You don't. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think our law enforcement departments, every one of them need to go through a full audit, along with our correctional facilities.
Yeah, Doge. That's what they need. You know what I mean? There should be a Doge for every state.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
And it should fall under anything's federal or state run. It should all have to go through that because, I mean, not even to get off police work, but you start digging into the correctional facilities.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, obviously you spent 19 years?
Yeah.
How many years were you a cop for?
So I got shot in my 17th year and then 2 years recovery and retired in my 19th year.
Okay, so 19 years, you've seen people in and out of the system, and it's like our correctional facilities are worse off sending somebody there than just letting them like a drug dealer, right? Yeah. You get caught up, kid gets caught up with a couple grams of weed on him and gets sent. Now he gets pulled right into these gangs.
Yeah.
And then you have to survive in these prisons, so you have to fall into a group.
Yep, can't blame them.
I would.
Yeah, you got
to survive.
Right.
And then now you're gang associated or affiliated, so then that's going on your record. Then they're going to have you're the young guy, carry out whatever they need you to do. Then you get hit with that. So now you're stacking time on, and here you are originally got caught with a little bit of weed or coke or something.
Something stupid.
And you're not even like a hazard to society. You just got caught with some drugs, and then now you're a full-on gangbanger in the correctional facility.
You got some perks in your pocket.
Yeah. Like that to me blows my mind. Yeah. Blows my mind. Like how do we as a country sit here and be like, yeah, this is working?
I don't know, man.
Same thing with our law enforcement.
I don't know the answer, man. I just know it's fucked up. I don't know the answers, but it's messed up.
There's
for sure
crooked people and money involved. That's
every sides everywhere.
Everywhere.
I agree with that.
Insane.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some police stories.
Yeah.
I want to hear. You ever get in a chase?
Oh yeah, I've been in lots of chases.
First police chase.
You
remember it?
Oh man. My first one back, I don't remember my first one. I remember back one like when I was a seasonal cop, we got chasing some drunk, got kicked out of a bar, and the guy was massive, dude. Like I'm 5'9", right? Like 170 pounds, but then I was probably like, 150 pounds or something. This guy he got kicked out of the bar, big dude. Me and another guy chasing him, tackled him, and the guy started doing push-ups with us on his back. He was a monster. He was a football player at University of Wisconsin. He was a linebacker. I don't remember the guy's name. Not that I would say it anyway, but yeah, he was a monster, dude. He ended up just like being nice and giving up.
Oh, really?
We chased him like 3 blocks.
He just gassed out or what?
He gassed out. And he got tired and gassed out. Then he tripped and fell and like hit the curb. And then we got on top of him, like tried to cuff him. He was just like banging him out, like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, oh, shit, man.
We're in trouble.
Oh, we're in trouble, dude. And he was like, all right, I'm good. And he like put his hands behind his back. And I was like, oh, God, dude. But that's the kind of shit you dealt with like as a summer cop. Just
for sure.
Stupid drunk stuff. You know what I mean?
I bet you the drunks dealing with, because I come from a little tourist town. It's not as bad, but I know how those towns are. Yeah. There's just every Friday, Saturday night, you're getting in a fight.
Yeah, you're getting in a fight. Some are worse than others. Some are funny. Some aren't. You know what I mean?
Give me some a funny fight story.
Oh, man, a funny fight story? I'll give you a funny story. This isn't even a pursuit related. This is just a funny story. This is like towards like the tail end of my career. I was in K-9 at the time, but my dog wasn't used on this complaint. We got called to a house for a guy. It was like a disorderly complaint. We get there, and guy's probably like he's probably like in his mid-late 20s. He was a big guy, right? probably about your size. He was a big dude. And he was running around his yard, screaming and yelling, butt naked, covered in Vaseline from head to toe. And he took his cell phone and shoved it up his butt.
What?
He was crazy. This crazy guy. The department ended up going out there like 3 times, like different occasions to deal with this guy. He was just a nut job.
One of those, like a freaking
Just a
flyer?
freak. Yeah, freaking flyer and just nuts, like nuttier than squirrel shit, dude. The guy was just fucking
Covered in Vaseline with a phone up his ass.
head to toe, bald head, everything just covered. Took a cell phone. I don't know if it was Android or Apple. I don't know, but right on up.
That's impressive.
Impressive, yeah. He did that like 3 times. I know of.
And then he would just call the cops, or somebody would call him.
Neighbors would call the cops because he's running around like a maniac.
Jimmy's out naked again. He's all moved up.
Yeah, I think one time we went there and he was like throwing like syringes at us and stuff.
God,
he was crazy, dude. Yeah, but that was like
tase somebody at this point, or what?
I can't remember how they. I think he gave up every time. Eventually, it was kind of like de-escalate this real quick because nobody wanted to touch him. I remember when I was out there, he like talked him down, handcuffed him, and then like took him to the hospital to like be evaluated and everything.
Fish a phone.
Nobody was like, I was like, how are you gonna go hands on this dude? You can't. You're just gonna slip off this guy.
What's the movie with Will Ferrell when they're like start like lathering themselves? Like it might be Will Ferrell where they oil themselves up and.
Yeah, that one they joined it for like a fraternity or something.
Yeah,
They're like 40 years old and got a fraternity.
He comes up all
Snoop
like
Dogg was in that movie, right?
Comes up all like Vaseline
What the hell was the name
up.
of that movie? I can't remember now.
Yeah, that's.
Owen Wilson was in it, I think. Yeah, it was like that.
See, I feel as a cop, I would just walk up and just be like, brrr,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
That's the policing that I feel we need to get back to instead of like, get on the ground, get on the ground. I would say
Put the Vaseline down. Yeah.
Like, God, this guy again. Yeah, when you get those types of calls and you know it's one of your freaking flyers, do you like take your time? Are you stopping at all like yellow lights and like hoping somebody else?
Someone else is going to get there first, right? Yeah. That probably happens a lot. Yeah.
That's how I would be like, this dude again.
Especially if you know like what it is. You're like, oh, God.
I got to help this old lady. I'll be right there. I got to help an old lady
I'm not
cross
getting there
the street.
first because I got to take the paper. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, how do you write that up?
Very quick. I don't know. It was. I remember that one. That was a long time ago. I was like, I was probably like that was probably 2013 or something. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was funny as shit.
What's one of the most memorable police moments that you had?
Oh man,
because you went street and then obviously you rotated to canine, right?
Yeah, I did. I was fortunate, man. I came from a department of like 40 guys, 35, 40 cops. So it was hard to get like special unit spots because there's only so many. Yeah. People usually tend to stay there for as long as they can.
For sure.
I was fortunate. I did K9 for 6 or 7 years. I was a narcotics detective for a few years, U.S. Marshals Task Force, K9. So I was pretty fortunate. What was the question you had? I got off track.
When you close your eyes and think about all the crazy shit you've been through, what's the one story that pops out?
Oh, being shot.
Besides being shot.
Yeah. A cool K9 story. I was working one night and I was helping out the drug unit. They were watching a house. They were dealing out of it. Whatever, this guy came out. They said he did like a hand-to-hand. He came out. And then they lost him on surveillance. And then I picked the guy up on another street. So I was like, I called it out. I was like, I want to jump out and stop this guy. I have my dog with me. So I get out, stop the guy on the sidewalk, hop out. Hey, man, blah, 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 blah. Put your hands on the car for me real quick. Come over here. So I started patting him down, and the guy turned around and swung at me. And when I stepped back, I tripped over the curb, fell. The guy jumped on top of me, like full mount. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, man. So I had the door pop for my dog on my belt. Okay. So I hit the door popper to let my dog out. So when my door pop went off, my horn would beep, like, boop. He heard it. And he turned around like, what was that? And he noticed like the dog was coming. So he got up off me, ran around the back of the car. My dog, who came out on the other side of the vehicle, came around the front of my car, like stopped and looked at me. And I was like, go get him.
Go get him.
Yeah. So he like chased the guy down, caught him across the street, ate the guy up pretty good. But that was a really memorable story for me. Yeah.
Okay. So as a canine cop, I got to ask.
Yeah.
When you turn your dog on somebody and it just bites the fuck out of them, is there something inside of you like,
oh, it's so good.
Get him. I mean, is it one of those? I feel
the first time is like horrifying. You're sending an animal to go eat someone.
Okay, yeah.
So it's kind of like,
it's a heat-seeking
should
missile.
I do this? You know what I mean? Yeah,
Slight
it's a
hesitation.
heat-seeking missile, dude, with teeth. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So you're like, the first one, I was kind of like nervous. And then after that was like, I could get used to this. Yeah. Especially if it's like something like, I mean, every time you send a dog gig, it's
serious.
It's serious. Yes. I mean, it's always like, you always have a reason. It's but yeah, it's like, it's cool, man. Especially when it's well deserved. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a cool feeling.
How many bites? I mean, did you?
I had 7, which for my department was a lot.
Okay.
A lot of bites. So I averaged like 1 a year.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. He was a good tracker, man. I was really fortunate to have a good tracking dog.
Okay.
He was just naturally, he was just awesome.
So you pick it up.
Yeah, he was good.
What are they? I mean, are they picking up on? Is it like skin cells and stuff that they can follow when you run? Is it sweat and all that kind of stuff? I mean, they're able to just.
Yeah.
What kind of was it? Malinois or Shepherd? Okay.
Yeah, I wanted a Mal. They picked the trainer where we trained at. They pick your dog for you. They try to pair you up. I wanted a Mal, and he was like, "No, you're getting a Shepherd." I'm like, okay. So I got a Shepherd. I hated him at first.
Really?
I hated him, dude. He was just an asshole. He bit me all the time in the beginning. He ate the shit out of me in training.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, it tore me up, man. I hated him. Even like when we graduated, like things were working because we graduated, but I was still like, I don't know about this guy.
Are you bringing him home? Is he part of the family?
Yeah, he's part of the family.
Okay.
And then up until that point, because it was very early on after I graduated police academy or at canine school, that I had that deployment where that guy got on top of me, and as soon as that happened, I was like, that's my guy.
And you guys bonded?
That's my dog. Yeah.
So you bonded with your canine
right then and there
after his first bite.
Yeah, I love this dude.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if for your position and going through all that training and that happening.
Yeah, man. That's one thing. Like people always ask me, like, what was the funnest thing about your career? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, the funnest thing I ever did was working with the Marshal Service, but the most rewarding thing I ever did was canine, because that was something that you only got out of that what you put into it. If you were successful, it's because you put the work in to get there, right? Because it's a team effort. If you didn't have such a hot career with it, it's because you didn't put the effort in.
What type of work are you putting? Like, are you trying to get
training hours? Yeah, working on your tracking, your scent work, your bite work, your recalls. If you're going, your obedience. It all starts with obedience. So it's just that continuous grind every day. I mean, I did obedience with him every day before my shift started.
Really?
Yep. And then even on night work, when we did because I worked permanent nights most of my canine career, we get out and had to do property checks, make sure businesses are locked and shit like that. So every time I got out and did that and walked like a complex or a business, I always had him with me, and I was working on obedience every time we walked. Was he drug trained or is he just a bite dog? Yeah, drugs and bite. Yeah.
So did he? I mean, did he ever find any? Did your dog ever find like a good bust or?
Yeah, we found we always found a lot of heroin.
Really?
Heroin was big out there.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of heroin, some crack. You get marijuana once in a while, but nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, heroin mostly. Yeah.
No shit.
So we worked on a lot of search warrants and stuff. And then I was on SWAT at the time, which our SWAT team is like a part-time team. So it's like you work patrol, whatever, and then you do that, I also got certified at a canine SWAT school with him. So he deployed on SWAT with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we did a lot of stuff with that. It was fun, man.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cool.
So he's right there with you for everything.
Everything, man. Yeah, it was cool.
Is he still alive?
Nah, he passed away unexpectedly July 5th, 2017.
Damn, dude, sorry.
We were on day work, finished up day work. It was July 4th. He got sick, finished up day work, took him to the emergency vet that night. He was like all lethargic. And then he died at like 3:30 in the morning on July 5th.
No shit.
He called me and was like, he didn't make it. Yeah, cancer. Didn't know he had it.
Yep, I went through that with my service. I come walking in the door one night, and my wife's like, something's wrong with him. I'm like, swooped him up, went to the vet, and that was it.
Yeah, you just don't know, man.
We don't deserve them. We don't deserve the good ones.
Nah, man, that one hurt. That one still hurts.
I feel you.
It still hurts me.
I feel you.
So, and then that was my last dog I had.
Yeah. You were done with it.
I wanted another one.
Really?
Just didn't work out with the administration. Yeah, they felt my path was somewhere different at that point.
So after the canine, what'd you transition to? Is that where you went Marshals?
Yeah. So I wanted another dog. They pretty much said no.
Why?
Not going to happen. They said they felt I needed to move on and do other things. I was at that time becoming a more senior officer in the department. So
Okay.
they wanted to give other guys a crack at having a dog.
Okay.
And they wanted to see me advance my career a little further. I didn't like that. I didn't want to. That's where I wanted to be. I was like, I'm gonna get another dog, maybe another one after that, and retire in K9. I'd be happy.
Yeah.
I didn't care about promotions and shit. So they're like, no, basically you can go back to the road as an assistant shift commander, or you can take the drug unit spot that's open. So I went to the drug unit, and then 6 months into the drug unit, I added the Marshals Task Force to it. So I was doing 2 jobs at once.
What's the drug unit? What is your day-to-day on a drug unit?
Plainclothes detective. So you're working informants. You're doing drug buys yourself, just building cases. Yeah.
Is it scary doing a drug buy?
It's very nerve-wracking. Yeah, it can get, and especially in the beginning, you've never done one, because you're like, how do you act? You're like a robot. You know what I mean?
I'm not a cop.
Yeah,
I would
right.
love
yeah.
to buy this
Can I buy
heroin.
some weed? You know what I mean?
I
It
feel
was,
like cops, you can just sniff them out a
do you
mile
have any
away.
crack cocaine for sale? It was fun, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't buy a lot of drugs directly. I did a few times. It was fun. But usually, if I could use an informant to do it, I'd do it just for safety matters. You know what I mean?
How do you get informants? Are they coming to you, or you catch them?
Sometimes they'll come to you, like, because they want money or whatever it may be.
Oh, so informants get paid?
Yeah, you'll have, like, a fund.
Okay.
It's usually, like, grant money. Like, you'll have grant money for, like, drug investigations.
Okay.
You can pay them through this money,
Mhm.
this fund for that. Where a lot of times, like, they'll want cigarettes. So you, like, give them cigarettes. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Yeah.
So these dudes are just ratting people out for cigarettes.
Ratting people out for a cig, man. Yeah, just for a simple lung dart. That's all they want.
Oh, shit. That's
Yeah,
so
dude.
nice. We were dealing with that in Iraq. These dudes, all they wanted was
Yeah.
smokes.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, they would rat their brother out for a pack of cigarettes. I'm not lying.
Same thing, dude.
Draw you a map. The
Yeah.
worst shit was, and all for a
I'll
pack
take
of
it there
cigarettes.
right now. Just give me that newt. You know what I mean? All right, yeah. Menthol? Cool. Yeah, we got it. And then
No
sometimes it'd be like someone got locked up and they're like, oh, can I get this to a misdemeanor? And you call the the prosecutor's office and see if they can work off the charge or whatever for information or whatever it may be. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
It was fun. It was interesting. Yeah.
What was fun about that? I mean, obviously,
Just like, it was just different than working in a black and white car,
Mhm.
handling a fucking domestic or a shoplifter, you know? Like, you got to see the other side of things. Like, when you're on the street as a cop, like, you're out there handling all these things in these areas, but now you're, like, immersed in this area in
Got it.
plain clothes with, like, your long hair, and you're sitting in cars with these people talking to them actually on their level, and you know what I mean? And you're getting to see another perspective of it, kind of, which I really thought was interesting. You know,
Okay.
you don't always get to see everybody's, like, when you're out in the street as a cop, you don't get to see the other side of everything, like their perspective of things.
for sure.
And now you do. on
Because you're
this side.
entrenched in it.
You're entrenched in it, man. And
That's a dirty world. I mean, dealing
Yeah.
with drugs with anything, it's just
I mean, you're helping them deal with their issues. You know what I mean?
really.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're working off drug charges or shoplifting charges or, wherever it may be. But let's say you're here, you become friends with them because that's a job, to build trust, right? With informants, you have to build trust.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking to them, you're hearing their stories, what they have going on, what's their ups and downs. Like, you're hearing all this shit. And, sometimes you try to help them out when you can. And other times it's like, there's nothing you can do for them,
Yeah.
I enjoyed that part of it. I enjoyed seeing the other side of things.
Did that feel like more of police work rather than
It made it more human for me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're
You're not just running a beat every day.
not just running a beat, like dealing with this person, boom, on to the next one, boom, on to the next one.
Yeah.
Like, these are people, like, when you build an informant, especially like a long-term trustworthy informant,
Yeah.
quotations there.
Very loosely use that.
You build a relationship. I mean, you don't build a relationship where you're putting all your trust into them. You're not telling them all your life story. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But it just makes things more human for you. For
Okay.
me, anyway. That's how my experience was with it. I can't say that for everybody. For me, that's what it was. Yeah.
Were there ever informants that you were dealing with where you just were like, this dude is no good?
Yeah, most of them. Yeah,
Really?
get out of here. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I've had informants feed me bullshit information before.
Just for a couple bucks or a pack of cigarettes?
Yeah.
And they're lying to you?
You never know for sure. Sometimes then sometimes you catch them. And then sometimes you're like, this just sounds too good to be true. Get out of here.
Did they ever tell you shit that just blew your mind? Like, would they just open?
Oh man, yeah. I had this one time tell me, like, you're gonna hit this house. There's gonna be a wall safe behind this picture, and da 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 da. And you're like, all right, okay. You have a search warrant for the house already because of other buys you've done.
Okay.
Because I always try to use more than one informant at each thing just to have like another sense of information.
Does that help in court? or just
I think so. Yeah, for me, because now you're not just relying on the word and information you get from one person. You can correlate it to like a whole other person that's not connected. They don't know each other because informants don't know each other are informants. Right?
Okay.
But I had this one time. I had multiple informants buying out this one house, and then this is the only informant that was like, "There's a wall safe, and it's behind this photo in the hallway." And and I'm like, "Yeah, right, dude. There was no fucking wall safe anywhere in that house." I'm like, "Why'd you make up a story about a wall safe?" He's like, "It was there." They're just stupid shit. And I'm like, "Okay, well, you're done." You know what I mean? Like, you were making it easy, like $40, and now you're like done because you lied some stupid ass story about a wall safe for no reason. You know what I mean?
Just wanted to confirm it, or just making shit up?
Making shit up, I guess. I don't. They're weird. People are weird.
So what's an informant make? So if I
mean, it all varies on
how
the cop,
real it is?
the cop, the agency, or whatever you choose to be. I was paying them like $40 for a buy or something, like $60 sometimes for a buy.
Really?
Yeah, you gotta keep up with the competition because other departments might be paying this, and this department might be paying this.
Wait.
It's not like a minimum wage thing.
So so the other departments are paying informants.
Yeah, because like sometimes like another agency like might be like, "Hey, I use this guy for this case up here. He's really good. He's got information in your town. If you want to use him," and you're like, "What are you paying him?" He's like, "I've been getting him like $60, so I would probably keep it close to that." And I'm like, "All right, like so, yeah."
No shit.
Yeah, man. They'll like barter a deal with you, man.
So the informants
contract negotiations.
Do they get smart and start like?
They'll
these guys,
play each side. Yeah,
really?
sure, dude. Yeah. It's like negotiating a deal with them.
The criminal mind
I'll
is
give
hilarious.
you 40 and a carton of Newports. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Just for some information.
From information.
I could see that being way more entertaining than just driving around in circles all day.
It's so much fun. It gets old after a while because you're just dealing with these shitheads all the time, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
No kidding, dude. I think I would enjoy that part of it. Cause
it was cool, man. Like I said, you get to see a whole other side of things. Like,
sure.
It's another world, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was cool.
And then from there, you said 6 months in, you got on with the Marshals.
6 months into the drug unit, I added that task on. Yeah.
What were you doing for the U.S. Marshals?
So I got deputized as a special deputy, which is like a task force officer. So they assign you there, and then you're strictly doing violent fugitives. That's it. So anything from like burglaries, rapes to homicides.
You're finding them?
Yeah, your department comes down with a case. Hey, we got this guy wanted for attempted murder, blah, 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 blah. Here's everything we know. Go find him. And you work that case, and you go track them down, whether they're in your town or they're across country. You
really?
Go find them, yeah. It was cool. That was an awesome job.
How badass was that?
Dude, it was sweet. I loved it, man.
Because you're not dealing with the day in and day out shit. You get tasked with a case or a person.
Yep. Or like, say, like, I work in Milford, Delaware, assigned to the Marshals Task Force, but, Phoenix, Arizona has a guy wanted for something, and he's in this area in Delaware. Here's the case file. Here's what we have. Can you guys track him down? Yep.
So you're just a bounty hunter in a way.
You're like a bounty hunter, dude. Yeah, you just track people down, man.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Are you working with bounty hunters and other agencies, or is this all like...
No, it's, you work with some other agencies. For sure, you're always doing that. But you have your team of marshals, and you just go out and work cases together, man.
Really?
Plain clothes, plain vehicles.
What was one of the worst cases you had to work?
Getting shot. But we worked a lot of like that year leading up to my shooting. We worked a lot of cases that year. We had 15, give or take. We had like 15 task force officers in the state, but my team specifically, day to day was like 4 guys.
Okay.
Me and 3 other guys. And we worked we apprehended 136 violent fugitives that year, and I think like 27 were homicide suspects.
Really?
Yeah. We stayed pretty busy.
I'd say so.
Yeah. It was funnest job I ever had, dude.
No shit.
I loved every second of it. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to go back to it. I loved it that much. Yeah.
I got one of my best friends we were rack mates at boot camp. We've stood on the Yellow Footprints in Paris Island together. He's a marshal now, but he deals with a lot of like the passport frauds and all that.
Yeah,
and he gets to hunt all those people down that are coming.
The marshals do a lot of things people wouldn't realize.
He's all over the world.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff. They do a lot of like sex offender cases too. They do a lot of stuff. Yeah.
See,
I couldn't do that shit.
I want to have somebody on to talk about it, just like what goes. But my hat's off to any of those people that can work those cases and have to watch the fight, because women are always into like murder mysteries and all that shit.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff either.
And every time I go down there, and my wife are always watching, and they're like, God, they went through 7 terabytes of child pornography. I'm like, who is?
I know guys that have done that, and it's brutal. Yeah, it's brutal, man.
See, I think at that point, like, I would rather hang it up than have to live with that shit.
I know guys that have.
And I know you're helping, and obviously the kids need help, and these people need to burn in hell. But for me,
I know guys that have retired early because of that.
For sure.
They couldn't do the job anymore. They had to get out. Yeah.
Yeah, that would tear me up.
Mhm.
Like, I'd much rather be chasing some
Idiot.
idiot with violent criminal than
I'll go chase down the guys that did that kind of shit.
For sure.
I don't want to investigate the case of what they did, though.
No.
Just give me the case of where they are.
So there's a special place in heaven for people that go through and can watch that shit and build a case up to put them away. And then our judicial system, they get off and fucking...
Yeah, they're out there. Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's wild. I know.
It's mind-boggling
how things are
set up.
Yeah.
I mean, so as a marshal, I mean, so you guys are, when it comes down to, you get like a list of guys, or is it just one case at a time, or do you guys have things laid out?
So like if my agency had a violent fugitive, they would just pass off to me. I work the case. Or like if another surrounding agency had one, they would call the marshal's office. Hey, we have this case. If you guys can work it, they're like, oh, who's the closest task force officer to them? Oh, TJ is. We'll give it to him. So like, oh, hey, we got this case from such and such agency. Can you work this? Get up with them for the information. Yep. And then I work.
So then you get the information, and then what happens? Like, what's the process of finding somebody that's on the U.S. Marshals wanted list?
I mean, you have another number of resources you can use, which I won't get into on here. But I mean, dude, simple Google search on shit, man. Social media.
Really?
Yeah, old addresses, new addresses, girlfriends, boyfriends, family members. You just go through a list of shit and start pinpointing stuff.
And are the majority of them pretty easy, or are you?
Some of them, man. Some of them are tricky as shit.
What makes it tricky?
Some people just turn into ghosts, man.
Really?
Some people are just good. They're just turning the ghosts. Like some people are just smart.
What makes them a ghost? Like, how do you disappear?
Not using, debit card payments, avoiding known areas that you might frequent, like family members or towns or whatever it may be, vehicles, traveling at night, whatever it may be. People are frequent flyers, man. They're slick. You know what I mean? They've been through the system. So they know how to get around stuff, but eventually you're going to get caught. You're not going to. I've never had anybody we didn't find eventually.
Really?
Nah. We've always, every case we had, we found them eventually. They might not be in like local. They might have been like in Mexico, and we had to like notify Mexico or wherever it was, but they were found eventually.
Is it fun tracking people down like that and going through like their life and talking to people?
Yeah, it was so much fun, dude. It was like cat and mouse.
Yeah.
Cops and robbers, man. It was I loved it. Sitting and doing surveillance on places, sitting all night somewhere, just waiting to see somebody walk out of a door, show their face in the window. Like, I loved it.
Okay, so all right, I could get behind that. Like, so what's it like sitting on a surveillance on a house or somewhere, and then you finally see the person you've been waiting for?
It's boring as shit until all that work pays off, and you see like an eyeball pop out, and you're like, that's his eyeball. I know it is. You know what I mean? Like, that looks just like his eye. You know what I mean?
Looking for anything.
Looking for anything, dude. It's rewarding, dude. When you put in all that time and effort, because, I mean, it's a lot of hours, man. Time away with the family events and shit. I mean, we were in it to win it, dude. I mean, early mornings, late nights, weekends, Sunday mornings, like whatever it took, we were fucking in it. And that's why we were successful. That's why we had so many cases that final year. But it taxes you. Taxes your personal time for sure. But it's rewarding, man. You put all that work in, you finally find that shitbag you've been looking for that tried to kill somebody or did kill somebody or rape somebody. Like, it's rewarding, dude.
Okay, so you find him.
Yeah.
You find this person you've been tracking, hunting down.
Yeah.
Wanted for murder. What's the process at this point? Are you getting a team? You calling in SWAT?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes we'd call SWAT just because, more the merrier.
Yeah.
And they have more tools than we have and stuff. Even though we're all certified and trained, we're all SWAT operators.
Yeah.
But you want a team put together for some stuff. And then sometimes it was like, yeah, we got like 8 guys here. Let's hit this door real quick. Bing, bang, boom. You know what I mean? It just it varied on the case. Yeah.
Besides, obviously, you being shot, were you ever in any shootouts?
No, I had been around shootings. I had never had to pull my weapon and fire it.
Okay.
That was my first time. I pulled my weapon. On those kinds of cases, your weapon's always out.
Yeah.
Never had to pull a trigger, thankfully.
Yeah.
Until that one day, yeah.
No shit. Let's dive into that.
Yeah, so, man.
Take me through the day that you got shot, serving a warrant.
December 10th.
What was the warrant for? Let's just start there.
Attempted homicide.
Okay, so you knew this dude was obviously
dangerous.
And this is you were working as a marshal at this point?
Yep.
Okay.
December 10th, 2020. It was a Thursday. It was like any other work day, man. Went to work early, worked some cases all day, doing whatever. I don't remember what exactly we did. And then got home at like a decent time. It was like 5 o'clock. Getting dinner ready with the family and shit. And then we operate off like group text for the team, you know?
Yeah.
So our supervisor put a text out and was like, hey, who's available for an op in the morning? Pennsylvania has a guy wanted for attempted homicide, and he's thought to be at this hotel. And we want to know who's available for like, 06. Now, so everyone's like, oh, I'm available, blah, blah, blah. And I was looking out the intel sheet, and I was like, dude, this guy's at a hotel 10 minutes from my fucking house. I was like, send me over a photo of him, vehicle information. I was like, it's 10 minutes from my house. I'll run out, see if I can see him or the vehicle, match tag up. That way we know. Because I don't know what intel they all had. I can't remember all that, but they had intel he was at this hotel. And I'm like, let me go verify. I'm close, right? So I head out there, tell my wife, hey, I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to run out and verify this. And, of course, she's like, okay,
So you're not even going there to make an arrest. You're just going to verify.
Just going to verify. Just get eyes on. Like I said, I'm in a Dodge Nitro. It's a plain Jane vehicle. There's nothing police about it. Ride out there, pulling the parking lot of the hotel. See the vehicle in the front row. I take up a parking spot a little ways from it. Verify the tag number, vehicle description, all that shit. Call my supervisor up. Oh man, got the vehicle right here. Like, he's here. The vehicle's here. He's got to be here, right? And as I'm on the phone, dude walks out. I'm like, oh shit, he's walking out. Hold on. So he comes out, and then shit starts matching up. He had a girlfriend with him. That was the intel. She walked out. 2 young kids were supposed to be with him. They walked out.
So you're 100% matched this guy.
100%. Looking at his photo and looking at him from like 50 yards away. I'm like, that's him, dude. He was very unique. He has like Hispanic, really big guy, long like beard. So he's very easy to spot. Everything matched. Photo was like exact. So they load up in the car. They leave. I let them go because I'm by myself, number one. Mm-hmm. And then number two is I waited like 5 minutes before I left just to make sure it was safe for me to leave, not be noticed. So I let them leave. I knew they weren't leaving for good. They weren't loading bags up and luggage and shit.
So you knew they were going to come back.
Yeah, they weren't loading any bags and luggage up. It was dinner time. They were probably going to get something to eat. You know what I mean? So I let them go. I head back home and getting dinner ready again. And I'm just like irritated. I'm like, dude, like, I'm on a task force specifically for locating violent fugitives. And I just found this fucking dude. And the goal was to wait till tomorrow morning and go get him. I'm like, fuck that, man. So I called the other guys on my team. They're like, yeah, we need to go get this guy tonight. Because what if he does leave in the middle of the night? Or even worse, what if he gets pulled over for some stupid-ass traffic violation by some random patrol guy who doesn't know what he's dealing with, and shit goes south with that, right? So they all agree. Supervisor agrees. He calls Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's like, giddy up, have fun. So I head back out there, set up in the parking lot. 2 of my partners show up. So we kind of put like a perimeter around the parking lot area. I went back to the same parking spot I had before so I would blend in again. And then we had other guys coming from like the north end of the state. We had guys coming from Maryland. I'm one of the offices in Maryland that we work with that was like 45 minutes away. So we had like 10 or 12 guys coming total. So we had to come up with a game plan as far as like, what if this dude comes back before the rest of the team gets here and it's 3 of us? Like, what are we going to do? Are we going to let him get back in the hotel? Wait and let him go back in the hotel until everybody gets here? Or are we just going to say, fuck it? And with a 3-man team, we're going to try to take this guy in the parking lot. We're trying to look at the safest way to do it, right? And my thought was, if we let him get back and go up to that hotel while we wait, now, one, we're looking at a barricade. We're looking at a murder-suicide. He's already tried to kill one person. We're looking at hostages. We're looking at maybe a shootout in the threshold of that doorway where we can't return fire now because there's innocent people, not to mention the other rooms around. It was a disaster, right?
Yeah, this is not the best scenario.
Right, and now by this time, it's like 7:30 at night. It's December. There's not a lot of people around. It's a hotel parking lot. There's a Cracker Barrel next to it. Not really many people eating at Cracker Barrel on Thursday at 7:30. It's pretty empty. Mm-hmm. Now, some people question, well, he had the kids with him. He's always going to have the kids with him. Like, you can't get around that. Nothing's going to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
So we decided if he comes back before the rest of the team gets here, we're just going to take him. So I'm going to pin the back of the vehicle. George is going to pin the passenger side. Josh is going to pin the driver's side. And then if he comes back in the same parking spot, which is up front, he's not driving off because the building's right there, right?
Yep.
Brick building. So, sure enough, here he comes strolling back in the parking lot.
And you guys are there already.
There's 3 of us. Yep. We had, like I said, there was 4 of us on the team. The 4th guy, Mike, wasn't there. He was on another assignment. So it was just 3 of us. So he pulls back in the parking lot, does a lap around the whole building, doing counter surveillance, I'm sure. Comes back around, pulls in a spot, and I'm like, execute. So we pull in. I pull in behind him. George pulls in the passenger side to pin those doors. Josh comes in to the driver's side. The goal is for him to pin the driver's side door, but he parked next to a vehicle where
Room
blocked it, right? So it's unrelated vehicle next to him. So I pull in and I come in at a really shitty angle. Instead of coming in directly behind it like you should have, you know what I mean? I come in, it was a tight parking lot, and I came in at an angle that basically when I opened my door up, it was like, I'm right there. Like I'm looking down the side of his vehicle. Like
down the driver's side?
Yeah. So like as soon as I come in, before I'm even stopped, I already know it. I'm like, fuck, I'm exposed. I already knew it. But it was too late, right? Wheels are in motion at this point. You can't like, oh, let me start over, redo. Yeah, it's not happening. So have my gun out, step out. As soon as I step out, his door cracks open, and I see a hand come. I see a little bit of a face. I see a hand come out, and it's just, boom, muzzle flashes.
Really?
About 6 feet.
So he was ready.
Yeah, he was waiting. He was ready. So muzzle flashes start kicking off. I return my first round. I return back, goes into his door, misses him. Then he comes out on 2 feet, starts pumping off more rounds.
You're still in your car?
No, I'm out on 2 feet now.
Okay.
So I'm like 6 feet. I'm like from here to just past my wife over here, like a few feet. So I start moving to the right to get covered behind his vehicle. And as I'm moving right, he's hitting me. I get 2 more rounds off. I strike him center mass. I didn't even know I hit him till a couple days later because it was like he didn't even feel it, dude. He just kept pumping, right? So I don't know how many rounds he got off on me. He lands 6. So the one, I don't know what order they were, but 1 round was through and through my left shoulder. 1 round my left hand. I had a round strike me in my plate carrier, ricocheted, landed in my chin. 2 in my right arm, and then I had 1 go in my right femur just below my hip socket, and that one just dropped me.
Oh, for sure.
Back of his car.
Were you running or were you stationed?
I was moving to my right, like cover fire, like trying to get to my right, moving like sidestepping to my right.
So when that round hit you, you dropped immediately.
Dropped me right there, just boom,
yeah.
right at the back quarter panel. So,
did you know at that point that you were hit? I mean,
I knew I was hit. I didn't know all of them.
Okay.
The only one I could feel was my leg.
I've heard guys say when they've been shot, some dudes feel it immediately, and then some dudes don't. That was the only round.
I didn't feel pain immediately.
Really?
No.
So your left hand, are you left or right-handed? Which one?
Right-handed.
Was your pistol in your right hand then, obviously?
It was in my right hand, so dominant hand.
Yeah.
Punched out here.
Oh, you took the round like this?
Took the round, through this one. Okay.
Damn. And then it didn't go into your face or anything?
No, the one that hit here ricocheted up. I don't know where this one went. It's crazy that no one has any answers for any of this shit. It's wild. Even like, well, I'll get into some of that too. But so like, this one takes a round. I don't even know. Maybe so. Here's the thing. Like, I don't know the order of the shot. So maybe if this one went in like after the other ones, and my hand came up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happened because I can't remember all those little details.
And you didn't have any body cams on or anything?
Nope. Marshals. Back then, the marshals did not allow body cams.
Okay.
Now they do. So when my leg hits, at some point, probably when this hand's got hit, I dropped my firearm.
Okay.
So when I landed down on my chest, and I landed on my hands. And when I landed on my hands, I crushed this one with all my gear.
For sure.
Broke all the bones in here.
Yeah.
So now both my hands are out of commission. Like I can see my gun, I can't grab it.
Was your gun laying far, or were you?
I could reach out and touch it.
But you can't get up.
It's just like, because my fingers don't move.
Yeah.
Nothing, not one finger.
So you got a crushed right hand and a bullet in your left. They ripped through your left hand.
Yeah, and the left's also crushed because from the bullet, I also landed on it too. So I broke everything.
And you have 2 bullet wounds in your right arm and 1 in your left shoulder.
Left shoulder. And then I got a bullet sticking out of my chin. And then I have 1 through my right leg.
All around 6 feet away.
Yeah.
While you're laying on the ground.
Yeah.
What do you remember what was going through your head? Did you think you were dead at this point? Like, is he going to walk up and shoot me?
I remember every detail of that, yeah. So I hit the ground and realized my hands don't work.
Yeah.
And I can't see anything because his rear driver's side tire is blocking my view from everything.
Okay.
I'm kind of like laid out like where my head's behind his tire, but my body's like out in the middle of like where you would walk to go to his door, like out there, out, right?
So you're exposed.
I'm totally exposed. And plus he's like 6 feet from me. So, and my partners were there doing their thing, which I'll get into in a minute. So in my head, I'm like, fuck, this guy's going to take like 2 steps and just
for sure
end it.
So you're waiting for him to kill you.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, so I'll get into all this here. It's going to sound like a lot, but you gotta remember this all happened in like seconds.
Yeah, for sure.
Split second. So my first thought is, yeah, he's going to come back here and finish this. And then at the same time, I'm thinking about not just life and death, but I'm thinking about my wife.
For sure.
I'm thinking about my son. I'm thinking about how I might not be seeing them ever again. And at some point there, man, I heard this voice in my head. And it was like screaming at me. And it was saying, you failed. You fucking failed. And now they're going to pay for it.
Who's they?
My wife and my son.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, man. It was like everything kind of went black, and I could just see them, like their faces. And it wasn't like sad faces; it was like happy faces, like smiling at me, like, "Hey, we're still making dinner. It's time to come home so we can eat dinner," you know. And then that voice was just pumping away, and the crazy thing is, that voice that was fucking with me, I believe is part of the reason I survived, because it was that voice that was like, made me realize, like, dude, you're not out of the fight yet. Like, you can still do something. So that's when I was like, I can't just lie here. So I used my left leg and my elbows, and I just pushed and crawled and shoved myself underneath the back of his car as far as I could in hopes to cover most of my vitals. And I thought, well, if he does come back here and try to pump me up, he gets my legs and I don't bleed out if I'm not already. So that's what I did. I just started crawling underneath his car and shoving under there, shoving. And as that's all going on, George, who's on the passenger side, sees an opportunity for a shot, takes a shot, strikes the guy in his left side. He takes off running, runs by me as I'm underneath the car. Runs past me, turns to his right, and sees Josh, my other partner, starts cranking off rounds at him as he's running.
So you're hearing them.
I'm hearing all the gunfire.
You don't know if it's coming at you or anything.
Yeah, so eventually they finish him out in the parking lot. He goes down, and then it's just silence. And now I'm like, fuck, I got to play possum because I don't know if he just killed both of them, and maybe he's coming back here to check on me. So
this is wild.
Yeah. So it was a moment of silence. The gunfire just went to a lull, and it was just like crickets, man. And then all of a sudden I hear Josh yelling my name because they didn't know if I was dead or alive either. So
they just see your legs sticking out from underneath the suspect's car that they just killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not moving.
Nope.
So
they real quick determined, they didn't even talk about it. They just knew. Josh was like, I'm going back for TJ, and George stayed with the guy who died. They stayed with him. He stayed with the body. Josh comes back to me, drags me out, Turner gets my leg, picks me up, carries me back to his car, and throws me in the back seat. George is staying in the parking lot by himself, as now the hotel is empty. This is a shitty hotel, of course. So the hotel's emptying with people. You just murdered that guy. You guys killed him for no reason.
He's just there by himself.
He's there by himself. And he has to be because if Josh doesn't get me out of there, they don't know if I'm gonna make it.
How did he put a tourniquet? Did it even do anything? Because I mean, you took it in the
No.
pelvis, so I mean, obviously
he took it. So yeah, so that's the thing. Like the tourniquet, the bullet hole wound was just below the crease in my hip, so you couldn't get a tourniquet above it.
No,
he actually got it on top of the
yeah.
wound. So I don't think it stopped all the bleeding, but it slowed it.
helped. Okay.
Yeah, it helped. So he loads me up in the car.
Do you remember him? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
Do you remember him putting the tourniquet on?
Oh yeah, I remember everything.
Is pain setting in at this point?
Yeah, it hurt like shit. That's the only thing the only pain I felt was my leg at that point.
Do you know?
I could feel it as I started crawling. I could feel the pain.
Do you know you have bullets in your chin and in your arms?
I know I have one in my chin because it's resting like on my teeth and my tongue. So I know I have a
bullet is resting on your teeth and your.
It's still there, yeah. It was not there now, obviously, but it was there at the time, yeah.
So the ricochet went up
right here,
through.
Right here, yeah.
Did it go through your jaw or did it go in between your lip?
It went through my lip and then it was resting like on my bottom teeth.
So you're feeling this bullet in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Your boy's putting a tourniquet on your leg.
I know I got one through my left hand because there's a hole here and there's a hole here. There's a hole in the top hole.
Are you scared?
Once Josh got, I was still scared. I mean, I was in shock too, obviously. So yeah, I was scared. But not to toot my own horn, I did a pretty good job of keeping my shit together.
Okay.
And so did Josh because Crane just kicks in after a while, right? So we did a great job at keeping communication with one another on the way to the hospital.
Okay. Are you in the back seat?
He laid me down in the back seat. I was scared. I mean, I was telling him like to call my wife and tell my wife I'm sorry. Like I was telling him all that shit.
Did he call?
No. He's like, I'm not calling your wife. You're going to call her, which I didn't. We'll get into that too in a minute. But so we pull out of the parking lot. Josh lives like over an hour away from this location, so he's not like real familiar with like, how to get to the hospital and shit there. I am because it's by my house. So in our pre-ops, we always designate like who's going to be evac. Josh was evac. Everyone, regardless of who the evac is going to have their phone or GPS in their truck ready to go with push button to the hospital.
Yep.
Done. Gets in the truck, takes out of the parking lot, go. Pulls out of the parking lot.
Okay, at
phone,
least this is going right.
Underneath the seat, under the passenger side floorboard.
Okay, never mind.
So he didn't have the phone ready. The battery died. No, he did great. He did a fucking awesome job.
He's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, buddy.
I knew I should have done that. Nah, he did great. He did all that, man. The phone rolled off the dash right underneath the seat. He starts going southbound on the highway, and I'm laying in the back seat. And he's on the radio. He's calling out shit. And then I'm noticing, like, restaurant signs that I know, like places I go eat all the time. And I'm like, are you going south? He's like, yeah. I was like, you got to go north, dude. So he went, like, a couple intersections south until I got him redirected. He didn't know. He thought it was that way. He would have gotten it because he was getting communication. But I just, I sped it up. But so he got redirected. He hooked a terrible U-turn. I say terrible because he was getting it, obviously. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah,
he made a U-turn. Yeah, and well, the worst part was, like, my foot was stuck in between the passenger side door and, like, the seat.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I had, like, every time I moved, like, my foot was stuck there. It was just pulling on my hip. So it was just like, there was no give. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't attached. His bone was split in half.
Are you feeling like the
crunching? It was just, it was awful. The most excruciating thing I ever felt in my life. Terrible. That was the only. I didn't feel pain anywhere else. It was just there.
Are you looking?
I'm sitting there like this. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, I got a bullet here.
Is there a hole or is it just a chunk missing?
There was a hole here. You can't see it now, but you can see the surgery scar. There was a hole here, so it split this bone in half, and there was exit wound right here.
So you're looking through your hand?
Yeah, I mean, you can't like see through it like in the movies, but you can see like the hole in the hole.
So so now you're laying there, your foot's stuck in a passenger door.
Yeah, and this hand's crushed, and it's got blood everywhere, but I don't know why. I'm like, I don't see a bullet hole anywhere. I wasn't realizing like it crushed because I fell on it.
Yeah.
Just like, why won't my hand work?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I'm in shock still.
And you're like just fucking around with this in your mouth, of the bullet.
I'm flicking it with my tongue.
And you realize it is a bullet.
I said, dude, I think I got it around in the face. He said, yeah, dude, you took one in the face. I remember him saying that. He's like, yeah, dude, you took one in the face. Yeah.
I'm not laughing at it.
It's
just wild that you're processing this. Like, this is.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. He confirmed all this shit. He's like, yeah, you said this, you said that. Like, to the point where I was in the back seat, and I'm a smart ass anyway.
Yeah.
And you know, as cops and military, we're all smart asses and joke with each other.
Don't take anything serious.
Yeah, right. So I'm in the back, and like it was a Jeep Cherokee, leather seats, blacked out. This thing was badass. The Marshal Service bought it and issued it to him. He just got it like in October. It was fucking awesome. And I'm in the back seat, and I'm spitting blood all over the fucking place.
Okay.
And I remember like apologizing, man, I'm really sorry. He's like, don't be sorry, dude. You're gonna be fine. We're gonna get you to the hospital. I was like, oh no, man, but I got blood everywhere back here. I'm spitting it up, and I know how much you love this car. You know what I mean? Like just fucking around.
Was there a lot? I mean, were you bleeding? I mean, obviously anything in the face is just
I had a
so
lot
much
of blood
worse.
coming out of my face just because, you know, you have a lot of nerves and shit there.
So is your mouth just filling with blood the whole time?
Yeah, I'm just like spitting everywhere, like projectile spit all over. Like his back seat was just red. The black turned red almost. Yeah. And then my leg, I was losing blood in my leg, but it wasn't like pouring.
Not femoral blood.
Yeah, no, it wasn't femoral, but I was still bleeding out. Like if my leg was swollen up so big, my pants were starting to rip. It was that.
That's
like,
scary.
frightening. Yeah, and it hurt like nothing I've ever felt. So then we're communicating. I'm getting him going northbound, and now he's working on like the radio with what's going on, and then getting other units out to the highway to like guide him to the hospital. So because I can't really tell him like street names and shit. I'm just like, you know,
you got 6 bullets in you. Yeah,
right. So
rightfully so. I would say you're probably all right.
So I start looking for shit to do. You know, the way like and even before this, my whole thing was like always look for work. Don't make yourself useful, right? Don't sit around and do nothing all the fucking time, right? So just like, and that was my thought, like in the parking lot was like, make yourself useful, fucking do something. Don't just lay here and die. So I crawled, right? Well, same thing in the back seat. I didn't want to just lie there and like wait. Like, well, the problem was like, you know, I couldn't fix my tourniquet. I couldn't take my vest off and check for other wounds. I couldn't do shit because my hands don't work.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I need to slow my heart rate down. I know that because blood loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started working on combat breathing.
Okay.
Which for me, like, it just felt natural because, you know, I did marathons, I did Ironmans, like I worked out regularly. So like working on breathing is something I did all the time. So I just started slowing my breathing patterns in, you know, inhale, exhale, getting that together, trying to slow that heart rate, slow the blood loss. And then I started moving into the next portion, like, all right, got that check. What are we going to do now? Okay, we're going to get to the hospital, and they're not going to know how to get all this crazy shit off of me. You're going to have to tell them. That's what happened. I got there, like yanking on shit. I'm like, no, you got to do this snap and this clip and this Velcro.
Because you're wearing not normal police gear. Are you kitted out?
I'm kitted out, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's a little bit.
I was pretty much wearing almost the same thing on that cover.
Okay.
That is the vest I was wearing. That's my vest.
Did you get to keep it?
Yeah, it's hanging in my office.
That's very badass.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So how long from when your boy loaded you
mm-hmm.
to you got to the hospital? What was the time lapse there?
It was like a little over 8 minutes.
That's really quick, but that's eternity for you.
Yeah, I got to the hospital, and they said I probably had like another 10 to 20.
Before you bled out?
Yeah. So they said if you would have waited for an ambulance to get there and all that paramedic shit, they say you probably wouldn't have made it. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you get to the hospital.
Yeah.
What do you remember feeling like a sigh of relief, like, oh fuck, I'm here? Or
I knew I was confident once I got to the hospital I was gonna live.
Okay.
My thing was my leg. So, and this is in the moment I just started doing it, was I told myself that leg was just trash, it's gone. I'll just be on the amputee. Like, they're going to take your leg, right? And the goal of that was, I didn't want to wake up. I knew they were going to put me under, and I was going to wake up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought process was, I want to wake up and look down and be surprised I still had it. Not
for sure.
Not vice versa. I didn't want to be like, fuck, I love my leg, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just like, it's gone, dude. Like, they're going to take it. You'll be an amputee. It's all good. People do it every day. You'll be no different. You'll still do the things you love to do, whatever. I don't care. Just
still life. I get to go home with my wife and kids,
right?
So I'll take it.
Still run with one leg.
Yeah.
Right? People do it all the time. So get to the hospital. Eventually I do wake up. My leg's still there, thankfully, obviously. But in that time frame at the hospital, they got me there. So this was the first hospital stop. I was there for like 45 minutes to an hour.
Just get you stable?
Get me stable, intubate me, and they're going to fly me out. While that's going on, notifications have to come, right, for my wife. So small state, small area,
Travels quick,
small law enforcement community, cell phones, social media, right? So we had sold our house and we lived with my in-laws at the time. We had bought some land and we were building a house. We were actually breaking ground like that week. So we lived with my in-laws, which worked out great. My wife was at home with my son and my in-laws, reading bedtime stories to my son. And she starts getting text messages. Stuff's on Facebook's popping up. People are calling or texting her like, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?" Da, 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 da.
So she hasn't even gotten a call from the PD yet. She's just having random people message and call her.
Yep.
And they were confirming it was you? The word had gotten out, or was it speculation
She
at this
didn't
point?
know.
Okay.
People knew, but no one had called her yet and said, "TJ, this happened to TJ." It came. So she's getting all these messages, and she'll tell you about it. She's getting all these messages, and she's like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? And then finally, one of her friends calls her, whose husband's a cop that I'm good friends with, and was like, she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." She's like, "You don't know? No one's called you?" She's like, "No." She's like, "Oh, TJ got shot. He's in the hospital." And that's a tough one. So she, takes care of my son, puts him in bed, and then goes downstairs to my father-in-law and was like, "You got to take me to the hospital right now. TJ got shot." And the only information she has, because, it's rumors everywhere. So it was true, but not true. So the only thing she was told is that I was shot in the face.
But if you're not calling.
That's the thing. Every op I didn't matter how serious or how little it was, she knew when I was going on it. And after I was done, the moment I got back to my car, I called her or texted her. And she knew that my team of 3 guys that night had been in a shooting, and I had not
Called or texted. So it's reality setting in for her. She knows something's
She knows something's
wrong.
up.
Okay.
So father-in-law takes her to the hospital. It's like a 10-minute drive, 12 minutes drive, something like that. It's close. On the way there, my department calls her finally. Now, with that being said, they took a long time. They took a route to get to that point that was unnecessary. But I will say, somewhat in their defense, regardless of what they did, they weren't going to beat social media and cell phones with everybody. It just wasn't going to happen. It was that quick. Like, she knew I was shot probably within 10 minutes of me being shot. She probably knew before my agency knew. It was that quick. It was that fast.
What?
Yeah. It was that fast. Probably within 10 to 15 minutes max. She knew.
So you probably weren't even close to the hospital yet.
I when she got the call, I was probably like
pulling in.
I was probably there. I had probably just gotten in there, and they were probably taking my shit off.
And then how long before the department called?
On the way to the hospital, on her way there, like right before she pulled in there. So they got to her.
You're talking 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Yeah, probably like 20, 30 minutes, probably about a half hour, something like that. Yeah.
Damn.
It took a long time.
Okay.
My agency never we had officer shootings. We never had an officer shot where there had to be a notification.
So at the same time, they're figuring out a new protocol because they're not used to dealing with this.
Well, they should be, but they're probably not.
Okay.
I will. We'll get into some administration shit later, but the chief there now is not the chief during the time of the shooting. So boom.
Okay.
So yeah. So she gets to the hospital. She gets there. I'm already out. They got me intubated.
For sure. So they didn't life flight you yet out of that.
They were getting ready to.
Okay.
So she comes in. Like I said, the only thing she's been told by like friends through Rimmerville is I got shot in the face. So she walks in. I got this big old bandage on my face. She's like, "Oh God, well, at least he's a nice guy. He doesn't have to look great all the time. You know what I mean?"
Got personality.
Yeah, he's got a personality. He'll be fine. So, and then I remember, I don't remember, but she was telling me that, and I guess like at one point she was like holding my hand, and the nurse was like, "Oh, you shouldn't hold his hand. His hands are broke. He got shot in the hand too." And she's like, "Oh, what exactly is going on everywhere?" You know what I mean? So she gets to the hospital, and then another half hour later, they fly me up to another hospital, like a little over an hour away, 15 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
And then my department drives her up to that hospital. So Thursday night, we get up there. The county agency of that county, it was 2 counties away, paid for a hotel to put her up in a hotel that night. My agency didn't pay for shit. The other agency put her up in a hotel for the night. So her and one of her friends, whose husband is one of my classmates from the academy, he worked for another agency, stayed a night with her. Yeah,
Wait.
I know. You wanted to pause there, yeah.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
You just got shot 6 times.
Yeah.
Fighting for your life.
It gets better.
And your agency didn't even cover the hotel to put your wife up at the
Not only
hospital
that, I was also told later on by a number of guys that were there when this happened that one of the chief's first question was, who's going to handle this workers' comp wise? Are the feds handle this, or does the city have to handle this? The feds are going to handle this, right? Because he was working with the feds.
Bro, I want to support law enforcement agencies, but you hear so much shit like
I don't
this.
want to support them.
You hear so
Not the
many-
administrations, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God help the guys that are on the beaten path every
Yeah.
day out there.
Oh, it gets better if with the administration talks. We'll get into that as we go.
What?
Yeah, it gets better. Yeah.
Okay, so you're fucked, bro. Okay. This
Yeah.
is mind blowing to me. Like, this is where
Mm-hmm.
why is that even a question?
I don't know, man.
Is it going?
When I heard, I wasn't surprised because the guy was he was an asshole anyway. I never liked him. He never liked me either, to be honest with you. But it's just how he was. I wasn't surprised at all when I heard that. I was like, I'm not surprised. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, they put her up in a hotel that night with a friend.
The other agency.
The other agency puts her up in the hotel for the night with a friend. Excuse me. And they keep me in bed all night. That's Thursday night. Friday comes. I have my first round of surgeries at like 2:00-ish, somewhere around there. And then that night, Friday night, they start bringing me out. I don't remember any of that. I remember seeing like a flash of my wife and a flash of my parents. I didn't know. I thought it was like a dream. But to back up for a second, like the surgeries I had, my initial surgeries were my right femur. I had a rod placed from my hip to my knee. I had, obviously I had this bullet removed, some shrapnel moved out of my face, and I had plates and pins in here, that's behind my hand here, and my thumb here. This is fused, so it works here, but the knuckle doesn't bend, so I'm just A-okay all the time. And then this one here, same thing. I have a rod or pins and plates in here behind my thumb, and then that's all the mobility I have there. And then I had some go on down the road, had some other surgeries. I had a couple bullets removed later that we'll talk about if you remind me. So Friday comes, have those rounds of surgeries. Friday night, they're bringing me out. I remember seeing like a flash there. And then this is December 2020. COVID is an issue, right? So no visitors, everybody out. COVID protocol. Nobody can see them. Get the hell out of the hospital. So I'm in the ICU for 7 days. I had, because it was deemed a security issue because of what had happened, so I had one officer from my agency with me and one member from the Marshals Service with me 24/7. So I was constantly in company the whole time. And then you had some cops here and there sneaking in where they can get through, to come see me and say hi, but no family could get in at all. Lockdown.
So how bad did you want your wife at this point?
Dude, I was stuck with a FaceTime call or something once in a while. That's about it. Yeah.
God, dude, I get a cold and I'm the most worthless human being on the planet.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being.
Dude.
I get a man cold and I just want to.
I'm the same way, dude.
Yeah, I couldn't
I get a
imagine.
headache and I'm crawling up in a ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I asked. How horrible was that?
And then the other side of it for her, it's she's dealing with everything at home.
Yeah.
And you can't see me and know what's going on. I know what and for me, in my mind, I'm it's dragging out because I'm what's she gonna think when she sees me? What is she gonna say? What do I say? So during that stretch in the ICU,
Which was a week,
7 days,
okay.
Thursday to Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, they take me down in recovery. I'm really coming out of it now. Okay, I know what's going on. Look down, my leg's there. All right, we're good. So Saturday, my chief calls. I don't have a phone with me because it was in my car still, and the evidence they brought it to me eventually. So I was other people were calling for me. So the chief calls into whoever the officer was in there with me, and I get on the phone with him, and he's like, "Hey, buddy," that's his big thing. "Hey, buddy," that's what he always says to everybody. He's like, "Hey, buddy, I'm coming up that way." Now this is an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 15 minutes from my agency. Okay. "Hey, buddy, I'm coming up that way tomorrow for this, that, and the other. If I get time, I'm gonna stop in there and see you." And I was like, oh, that's really nice of you. Appreciate that. So,
So your chief,
yeah, I hadn't talked to him yet. That's the first conversation with him.
first conversation, if your chief makes time for you after you just got shot 6 times,
Hey, buddy.
he's going to try to make time to come see you in a
This
hospital.
time he's going to pop in and see me, see how I'm doing.
Fired.
Yeah.
Like that. Those are the types of, like, get him out of there. I'm sure he's not there anymore, but
Nah, yeah, he retired. Yeah.
like what?
So,
What better is going on in this motherfucker's life
dude,
to not come see one of his officers that just put his whole line on the life on the line?
oh, dude, I had another lieutenant never called me or said anything to me. To this day, I walked by him in the hallway. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Never acknowledged it. True story.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where's this brotherhood in the law enforcement
Oh,
community?
dude, that is so like that whole thin blue line thing's like I look at it as a fucking myth, dude. Like that is few and far between. That's
Yeah.
like people look at that different ways, but like the brotherhood is not like a brotherhood.
I feel, and
There's a very
correct me-
small percentage that actually is. Like my team of guys with that task force, I would say that's a brotherhood. You know what
But
I
I
mean?
feel in order to get the brotherhood, and there's probably cops who are like, I'm a normal cop and I have a brother. I get every
Yeah.
unit's, every
Yeah.
department's different. But if it was like,
Yeah.
and I feel good cops hate bad cops,
Yeah.
bad cops hate good cops, but all cops hate each other.
Yeah, it's a lot of law enforcement's a lot of back.
Everybody turns on each other.
turn on each other quick, man. It really it's an ugly profession. It really is, dude. It's not like people think the public that doesn't know anybody. They think, oh, it's just the blue line, brother. No, it ain't, dude.
Like I have a buddy that went from Marines to cop, and he's like, dude, this shit
worst.
sucks.
Yeah. It ain't,
He's
it,
like,
it ain't like
they'll turn
when
you
people,
in so
oh,
fast.
so fast, dude. Yeah.
But then you hear you're in the military, like, yo, we need to
Especially
bury
when
a
it comes to
body.
like promotion time, it's like, watch out, it's promotion time. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, it's if people are, that's a myth, dude. It's a myth. It's a myth.
Okay, so you get shot
Yeah.
6 times, end up in the hospital. Are you laying there and like, this was not fucking worth it? Did that ever go through your mind? Or
Dude, so I'm thinking a lot of shit. I'm very fortunate in a number of ways, but one being when I woke up in the hospital, dude, I just had this sense of like thankfulness.
okay.
I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking like, why me? Why did this have to happen? I mean, once in a while that shit would come in, hit you, but like I was really good at not letting it get to me. I was just thankful to be alive, man.
For sure. Are you a religious man?
I mean, I've always had my beliefs, a lot more now
For sure.
since then.
For sure.
And I just kind of skipped this part, but we'll jump back real quick because it's a quick one. So, in the midst of the shooting, when he ran by me and turned to shoot at Josh came up out of holster, and when he came up, his first round went into his own engine block. Okay, drives me to the hospital. He doesn't know that at the time. Drives me to the hospital as he's pulling up to the ER door with the brake. Engine dies, and he just coasts right up there. Engine stayed on the entire time until he got to the ER door.
Bro, how are you not a believer at this point?
Boom.
How
Exactly.
are you not a believer?
Telling you, man.
Tell me it's not
That,
God.
and you look at all these rounds that hit me, like none of them hit it. Like even here, you have RAs run through here.
Yeah.
It didn't hit any bone or nothing, just clean through.
God, man, you.
Dude, yeah. 9 lives, man. I spent them all. I spent them all, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got 6 of them right there.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm a believer, dude, for sure. I definitely have my beliefs in that, in God, for sure. A lot more now. I was never one to like talk to God and pray and stuff. I do that shit all the time now. man.
Changed your life.
Yeah, it really did, big time.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
Just a conversation with God, how much it'll change your life.
yeah. Like I do a lot of rucking. I
Yeah.
live on the beach, so like I ruck on the beach.
Yeah, I see your videos.
And like, yeah, I see those videos I post stuff all the time. Like every time you see one of those videos, at some point before or after that video, I'm sitting on the beach talking to God at some point. Every time. Every day.
It's the healthiest thing you can do.
Yeah, man. It's like a flush for me, I feel like. You know what I mean? I don't know. Even if I don't really have much to say, it's like, hey man, just checking in. I mean, as crazy as that may sound to some people, it's just the way it is.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
not crazy to us.
Yeah.
Well, good. Okay. Bro,
yeah. Yeah, man.
you're okay. So
Yeah.
That is wild. So your lieutenant never even acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Your chief, did he ever find time to come see you?
He came in the next day for
Okay.
about 20 minutes. Then he left. Yeah, about 20 minutes, which is fine. I didn't want to see his ass anyway because I never liked him.
Yeah, for sure. I get you.
I didn't even want him to come. Yeah, he came, left. So there was some talk during this time period. There was a lot of things behind the scenes where, like, people were contacting the governor about getting my wife in to see me. The governor was contacting the hospital, like, president and staff to get me in. They denied it. They're like, no, she's not coming in. Got denied all that, even though, you know, they wouldn't let her in. Even with a call from the governor, they wouldn't let her in. So the marshals were like, one of the supervisors that I had with the marshals were like, dude, I think we're gonna get your wife geared up. Like, we're gonna put her in like a marshal's jacket, and we're gonna fucking just bring her in. And I was like, man, I don't want to cause any problems, dude. Like, and it ended up not having to happen because, like, the next day they're like, you're getting released. Your wife can come up.
So so from coming out of your induced coma and surgeries to getting released, what was that time period?
So got there Thursday night, surgery's Friday. The following Thursday, I'm getting released.
So you haven't seen your wife in
Since I left from dinner.
10 days? 7? How many?
7.
Oh, okay. So 7.
Yeah.
So she didn't get to see you.
She saw me when I
left the first hospital.
The only time she saw me was when I was unconscious. She saw me after my round of surgeries when I was unconscious still, and then they kicked her out. Yeah. So I never saw her.
That was rough for you, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so 7 days later, your wife comes walking in.
She comes walking in.
What'd that feel like?
It was good. It was weird. It was mixed. Not like mixed like I didn't like it. Well, so they bring her in. All the guys clear out. They're gone. And she walked in, walked around, came up to the side. And the first words out of my mouth were, "I'm sorry I failed you."
You really felt that way?
Yep. Yeah, I felt like a failure. Because I always said I would come home to you, and I almost didn't. Well, I didn't that night.
Yeah.
You know. And
What was her reaction to that?
without skipping a beat, like she didn't even think about it. You've never failed me. I don't even think I finished a sentence yet, and it was like, "Shut up! You never failed me."
Was that like a sense of relief on your part?
It was massive, dude. Not just relief, but just like knowing like the belief that she had in me.
For sure.
And then like that sense of like, all right, you can't let her down now. Like you gotta make the best of this.
Time to fight.
Yeah.
And the validation too. I mean, as a man, it's the last thing we ever want to do is let our family down.
And you know, like for a little while after that, like I always regretted saying it to her, and then I realized like, one, it helped me. And two, like regardless of whatever it was I felt I needed to say, that was it. She needed to hear it because I needed to be honest with her. You know? So like as time went on, I was like, I didn't regret it so much saying it. I hated that I felt that way, but I don't regret saying that to her. You know what I mean?
Was it like you just felt sorry, like you got?
Yeah.
I can't put myself in your shoes, but for me, they got me, you know, like I'm sorry. It's not supposed to happen like this.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like I failed because I didn't come home. I positioned my car in a way I shouldn't have positioned it.
Mm-hmm. Do you really, looking back at it now, do you think that would have even made a difference? Because it sounds like he was ready.
Yeah, he was ready. So the way I look at it is, I don't Monday morning quarterback it. The way I look at it is, I could have done everything textbook and taken one round that was fatal.
Yep.
All I know is that the way I did it led me here.
Yep.
You know, and that's what matters. You know, I survived. That's all I care about. You know.
So she comes in. You guys get to talk for the first time.
Yep.
And then you're getting released that same day.
It was it that day or the next day? The following day. The following day I was getting released. Yeah.
How was that? Were you pretty meted up at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty meted up that week. I had all kinds of painkillers pumped in me and shit. I wasn't feeling any pain at this point.
Okay. Are you just thinking like, fuck, like this sucks? I mean, because I mean, now you're
Yeah.
realizing the holes you have.
I
in
mean,
you.
like even like to get me out of the hospital, like to move me from like the bed I was in to the stretcher, they had to like put me on a hoist
yeah,
and move me.
no
I
shit.
couldn't move. Yeah.
I mean, because you're full casted at this point, right? Or no?
I didn't have a cast, but the leg was like, I mean, I couldn't move it yet.
Yeah.
There was a shit ton of physical therapy to get moving. There's all the Apertree in it, and
Sure.
it's solid. And my hands are all bandaged up. I have no energy. Like when I got shot, I was like 175 pounds, 72 pounds, and when I got released from the live-in rehab center, which we'll get to in a minute, which was like 3 weeks later, I was like 142 pounds. I lost all that.
So you went from the hospital to a rehab center.
Yeah, so get released that day, load him up in the ambulance, get to see my son, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
Shock for him, obviously. He was 7 then, so, you know, it was kind of like ghost-faced.
Do you remember it?
Yeah. The ride in the ambulance, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
And seeing him in a stretcher, I remember that too.
Yeah.
That's rough,
Yeah, I mean, he was in shock.
for sure.
You know, he's like never seen me like that. And I had long hair at the time because I worked undercover, so my hair was like crazy and shit.
Yeah.
And the ambulance ride, man, like it was good for him and me because I got to like relax and talk and tell jokes, and like he got to see like I'm still dad. You know what I mean? Because I was, right? But the worst part of the ambulance ride was, it was like a 45-minute drive to the rehab facility or something like that. And the ambulance had like 2 windows on the back, you know, those like square fucking glass windows.
Yeah.
And they had that long ass procession following us, like just red and blue lights, like a whole fucking miles of red and blue lights following us, right? You know, so the first thing I thought about do was all those processions like that I had been in when the person in that ambulance wasn't so fucking lucky, man. You know, friends of mine, guys I didn't know whose funerals I went to, a coworker of mine, just all those processions I've been in where I wasn't as fortunate, and that really fucking hit me like a ton of bricks with the survivor's guilt shit, you know?
Oh, okay.
You know, why was I the lucky one, you know? So, go ahead.
Survivor's remorse or guilt.
Yeah.
It's such a fascinating thing
Yeah.
because you go through something so traumatic
Yeah.
or like, but then it sets in like, why me or
Yeah.
why them and not me, and that's a really hard one.
It's a hard game to play, man.
And I'm not speaking law enforcement side, just veteran side with our organization. Those are some of the hardest guys
Yeah.
to pull them out of the darkest places, are guys with survivor's guilt,
Yeah.
or even guys with 0 scars.
Yeah.
Just should have been them. And it's
Yeah.
one of the biggest battles.
Yeah, you know, man, it's like, and it's something I still think about, not like in a guilt way. I don't feel guilty about it because there's nothing I could do, right? You can only control what you
Those
can
are your
control.
cards that you got dealt.
Yeah, man. You feel bad, obviously, still, but I don't feel guilty
For sure.
because I can't do anything about that. Just like they couldn't do anything about it,
Yep.
you know? So you just, you know, you learn to accept it what it is. I mean, everything comes down to acceptance initially, right? You have, before you move on from anything, you have to accept what the situation is. Or you're not getting anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And that's one thing, and that's another thing that I was very thankful for, is I feel like I woke up in the hospital with acceptance. Like, accept it and be happy you have what you have. You know?
Absolutely.
And that went away that went a long ways for me. And then to back that up with, you know, my wife saying, "You've never failed me," just to add to that is really what, you know, helped me put that fire in my belly to get moving.
Yeah.
So I'm dealing with that. Get to the hospital. This is the following Thursday night. So we get there. They wheel me out. It was so quick when they got me out. I don't even think I got a chance to say goodbye to my son. It was like boom. They wheel me out into the hospital, up to my room, and it was me, my wife, and like 2 or 3 like administrators from the hospital they were moving me to, live-in physical therapy. So they're like, "Hey, COVID, you know, you can't have visitors, but we're going to make an exception. Your wife can come up as much as she wants between the visiting hours, which are 8 to 8." And I was like, "That's all I need, man." You know what I mean?
For
Like, I wouldn't see the guys and shit.
No, fuck them.
But I
I
needed
need to see my wife.
I needed my time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she leaves because it's late at this point. Excuse me. So she's like, I'll be back in the morning at 8 o'clock. I'm like, okay. So she leaves, and I'm in this room finally by myself. 7 days later, this is the first second I have to myself because, like, even when I was in the ICU, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. I couldn't do anything. I was always with somebody. And it was either, like, quick cat naps or, like, constant conversation, right? So now it's like, poof, all this shit's hitting me, you know, like.
Did you break down?
Oh, yeah. That was a rough night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking terrible, man. It might be the worst night of my life.
Why?
What am I doing here? How did this happen? Why me? Am I going to be a burden? You know, I don't have answers to anything. All I know is what my injuries are. I know that they're giving me a 2-year recovery, 2 years before I can even think about trying to run again. My hands are a big question mark because everything's fucking shattered so bad. They're like, we can't give you an answer on your hands. Like, it's just going to be a weight game with therapy. All right. So I'm thinking about all that shit. And then 6 a.m. comes, and the nurse comes in for, like, check on me and give me my fucking daily shots and shit. So she comes in swing door, and I remember the light coming in from the hallway and, like, hitting the door. And I was like, fuck, man. And it made me think of a book that I had read 6 or 7 years prior to this. That book that I hadn't picked up since, a guy that I hadn't looked at since, you know, and it was The Trident by Jason Redman.
Okay.
And I won't jump into Jay's story, but most people probably know it. But Jay was a SEAL, severely injured, spent time on Walter Reed. And during his time on Walter Reed, he came up with his sign on the door, which is basically a sign that he made up that was like a motivational tool to keep him going, basically, right? So I thought, man, that's a really good fucking idea. Like, I'm grasping at straws here, man. I'll do whatever I can, right? So it just dawned on me, like, oh, sign on the door, Jason Redman. Read that 6 years ago. It sounds like a good idea. So my wife comes up at 8. I'm like, I need some poster board, marker. I'm like, to sign up, blah, blah, blah. She's like, okay, what do you want me to write? I'm like, I'm going to write it. Just, like, stick a marker in my cast here, and I'll, like, etch-a-sketch it on there and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's on there. I don't know if it's legible, really. But so I made this sign up. Put a couple patches on it of mine. I put my old K9 patch on it because that's what I had, and I had my Marshals patch, and I signed it the best I could. And I put it up on the door, and see if I remember. It was notice to all who make entry here, you must enter with hardened minds and a strong ethos. I'm not here to get back to where I was. I'm here to be better than I was, and I will surround myself with like-minded people. Do not enter with dejection or disdain, sadness or empathy, anger or fear, or you will be turned away. I've received these injuries doing a job that I love for the people and community that I love, and I received them alongside my brothers who I'll join again soon.
You put that sign on the outside of your door?
Put it on the outside of my door.
Damn.
And I'd say within about 3 minutes, I had the president in my room, like, who pissed you off? Like, what happened? Like, what's wrong? And I was like, dude, I've been here for 12 hours. I've talked to one person. Nobody's pissed me off. Everything's great. This is just a motivational tool. It's not meant to offend anybody, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, okay, I understand. That's fine. And it was cool, man. Like, had people come down looking at the sign on the door and shit. It was cool, man. But I put it up there for 2 reasons. Like, one being for what it was. It was a fucking warning. I didn't want pity parties. I didn't want sad faces. Oh, this poor guy, this poor cop, blah, blah, blah. I wanted people coming to my room with a smile, upbeat. I started every morning with music playing on my phone. At 07, I called into my PD to do shift change with the guys. Like, I was on a fucking mission. I wanted everything to be tempo, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted a tempo in that place. I didn't have time for that shit. So did that. I met with the staff. They gave me, I had 2 physical therapists assigned to me. They gave me, like, their expectations, and I was like, fuck it, here's my expectations. And I gave it back, right? They're like, our goal is to get you out of here in 2 weeks on a walker. And that's, if you can get out of here on a walker, like, we're setting you up for some good success going forward. Okay. I'm like, well, if you think I can get out of here on a fucking walker, I can get out of here on my 2 feet.
For sure.
I mean? That's my mind.
She knows.
She knows.
That's
She knows. Like that, dude. I'm better than that, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
Because, you know, we hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Every
right?
time.
Every time, man. If you think that of me, you're fucking wrong.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I'm at. You know what I mean? So I kept that mindset, man.
That's man shit right there,
That's man
though.
shit, dude.
100%.
That's man shit.
That's pure man shit.
Pure man shit, and that's what I'm about. I wasn't gonna let anything get me off that track, man. So I came up with a game plan. I wanted long-term goals. My closest one was walking out of there on my own 2 feet. But I wanted a long-term goal. My long-term goal was, well, you're telling me 2 years before I can run again. Like, what's my bread and butter? I love half marathons. I'm running a half marathon every 12 months. Boom, we're gonna do it. So
you set a goal to run a half marathon under 12 months
before the 1 year mark.
Before your 1 year mark of being shot.
That was my goal.
6 times.
That was my goal. And I made that decision that day in rehab.
Okay.
So long-term goals are set. Gotta have a game plan.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta have that short-term goal set, right? You gotta have those micro wins.
Mini wins.
Moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stack them, man. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Stack them. So that's what I did, man. Like with my therapist, it was like, okay, we want you to do 3 repetitions of this. Nah, fuck that. I'm doing 5 or 6. You're doing 4 rounds of this. Nah, I'm doing like 8 or 9. You know what I mean? 1 more rep, 1 more round, and eventually down the road, that would lead to 1 more mile, right?
Yeah.
So, hence the name of the book, Just One More. So,
love it.
Had these game plans in place. I followed them. I pushed myself in there every day to the max, to the point where they were like unplugging machines and shit. Like, no, you're fucking done, dude. Like, you can't do it. Doing shit in my room by myself, keeping my hands moving, walking around as much as I could with a walker, because I fall in the early stages, like I had to have a walker, right?
Yeah.
They would come in my room and catch me out of bed. Like, you can't get out of bed without assistance. I'm like, fuck, I can't, you know?
Yeah, watch me.
Yeah, watch me, man. Every night after I had dinner, I buzzed the nurse's station, like, burn, 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 have a nurse come down and take me for a walk every night.
Oh.
I was just on it, dude. You know, 2 hours of PT a day, 24 hours a day. It's 22 hours of Netflix. I don't have that much shit to watch.
Not enough time, yeah.
No, I can't do it. So, stuck to that game plan, pushing myself. The day, roughly 2 weeks go by. I get out a day early. The day they tell me I can leave.
That's a little win.
It's a little win, man. Stacking them,
yep.
right? That's a victory, right?
Day early, that's cool in my book.
Yeah, you can get out a day early. We're going to let you go tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You got some shrapnel poking out of your face there, a little bullet shrapnel.
It'll work itself out.
So before you get released, we're going to drive you to this other hospital for their plastic surgery, and they're going to dig it out. They're going to bring you back, and then we'll discharge it. Cool, right? So go up there, get this shit dug out of my face, come back down, and it's time to leave, right? So I come in, they got this... Well, there's a wheelchair in my room, so I'm sitting in my wheelchair. They come in with this walker, and she's like, oh, you ready to go? Yep, I'm ready. All right, well, we're going to wheel you down. And no, fuck you, ain't.
Nope.
So back and forth for a few minutes, because they have their own protocols. Like, oh, well, you know, we have to wheel you out. I'll stay here another week. I'm not going out on a wheelchair or a walker. It's just not happening. I think my wife was kind of like, dude, just get out of here. We got to get out of here. And I'm like, I'm not leaving.
She's like, I'm ready for you to get home. Sit your ass in that chair. Let's get out of here.
I'm leaving this place. So we wheeled and dealed it, and the deal was they were going to let me do it. So kudos to them. They let me do it because it's against their policy. And they had somebody behind me with a wheelchair, and they had somebody in front of me with a walker. But I was like, just don't touch me, right?
Yeah.
So made it down the hallway, down the elevator, out to my car, and I was like, that's a fucking win.
Mm-hmm.
That's that first long-term goal.
Mm-hmm.
Checkmate, right? Keep it going. So we start the trek home. Small procession going home, leading us home, and the way home on the highway we were on, there's like a bunch of overpasses and shit, and there was like people lined up on the highway having picnics with their families with flags and on the overpass.
How did that feel?
It was cool, man.
Yeah. To see support like that.
Yeah, dude, because especially like during that time period where like law enforcement in 2020 was really getting fucking bashed.
Yeah.
That was a big concern when the shooting initially happened. Like, you know, we had guys sitting guard at my in-laws' house in case people found out where I lived. It was a fucking rough time. And I didn't have any of those problems, man. Like, the community rallied around me.
Cool.
I mean, the community that I worked in, the community where I lived in, where I was shot, like, everything just rallied around me, man.
Good.
And I remember, like, on the ride home, we just cried and cried and cried. It was, like, funny because every time we saw an overpass, it got to the point where, like, we would cry, but we would laugh at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it was, like, fun,
Mm-hmm.
almost, in a weird way. And then we finally get home. I got home a day early. So my son wasn't expecting me, so saw him in the driveway. I remember he came over and jumped in my lap, and it hurt like a motherfucker because he landed right on it, man. Like, my leg's like straight. I can't move it yet. You know what I mean? But I didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't care, man. So we get in. Get upstairs to my in-laws' house, and I'm a big bourbon guy. So my father-in-law had like a little glass of bourbon poured for me, and I was like, I'm on all these meds. I was like, I'll have a sip because I'm on these meds right now. So I had a little sip. It was great, and then I was like, get away from me. But it was just great. It was great to get home. It was great to see my parents and my son and my in-laws and just be back home.
Home.
Like it was like another check in the box. Like
another win.
Another step in the progression. So that was a Thursday. That was a Wednesday night. The next day was Thursday, which was New Year's Eve. My wife calls the outpatient living or outpatient physical therapy I'm going to go to. Wants to get me in. They're like, well, it's New Year's Eve. You know what I mean? There was a physical therapist there that was like, I got nothing going on. I'll work tonight. They didn't know who I was or what I was. They just knew I need to get physical therapy started. So we go there, start physical therapy New Year's Eve night. Same thing. I met with my physical therapist, who ended up being my physical therapist for nearly 2 years. And she gave me her expectations. I gave her mine back.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm running a half marathon in under 12 months. And she's like, okay.
Was she supportive of it, or was she like,
was.
yeah,
like real quick, when she realized like this guy's not fucking around, she was very supportive of it. She was also very conscious of how far I was pushing myself too. Like she kept a close eye on me. But it was great because if she felt like I was doing too much, she'd be like, you might want to back it down a little bit. Or if she felt like I could do more, she'd be like, no, you could do more. That's not enough.
Yep.
Like, she was great, man. So I give her a lot of credit. So that was, January 1st. April comes, like spring day. I stroll in there. And I had been running on like an anti-gravity treadmill. So it's like, you familiar with that? So it's like it's a treadmill, and they like zipper you in it, like the waist down.
Oh, yeah.
With air. So it like gives you like a percentage of your body weight. So I started with like 5% of my body weight, 10%, 15%. So I had been doing that, like gradually getting my leg to move again. So she was like, it's really nice out today. You want to go for a run? And I was like, what? I'm like, yeah, man, let's go outside and try it. She's like, okay, let's go try it. So I go outside and I like,
she's like, please.
Yeah. So we go outside and I like run. I don't know if you want to call it a run, but I ran like a half block, a quarter block, came back. And I remember running back to my therapist and just crying, man.
Really?
And I felt like a kid just learning how to ride a bicycle, It was like, I fucking did it. Like I'm on track. Yeah.
Did you have a point at all where you had like an emotional dump? Do you remember?
I feel like I had a few emotional dumps.
Was there one when you got home and like got to feel your bed again, or was there any like milestones that it hit you like your run?
Well, I mean, getting home, especially like that first night in bed, like it was just like, it just felt good to be in my own bed, man. Like laying next to my wife.
Yeah.
No, my son's upstairs in his room.
Yeah.
It was just a sense of normalcy. That was big. We probably cried in bed that night, I'm sure. I'm not a crying at that time.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. Milestones, I mean, the running. But to back up, the first day of physical therapy, to get there, I have to ride by the parking lot of the shooting. So, and even like to today, I ride by it every day. It's right by my house still. So we ride by it, and we're getting close, and I'm like, oh, God. Like I'm starting having a panic attack.
Yeah.
And we get by it, and then we come home, drive by it again. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then the next day, we're getting close. I told my wife, I was like, pull in the parking lot. And she's like, what? I'm like, pull in the parking lot. Yeah, I'm thinking about, I'm not thinking about her. Like, can you pull in the parking lot? I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about, this is me.
Mm-hmm.
I need to pull in the parking lot. It doesn't affect her. It affects me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do, right?
Yeah, we don't think about others.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's just us.
So, pull in the parking lot. She's like, okay. So, pulls in the parking lot. Tell her where to park at. We parked close to it. And I didn't say a word. We just sat there and chewed on it and just ate it. Because my thing is, this shit's not going to run my life, man.
Gotta face it.
This is a problem. And when there's a problem, what do? You fucking correct it, right? And if I try to ignore that thing, how's that going to help me?
It's winning.
No, it owns me, right? I don't want that parking lot of fucking blacktop and concrete to own me. Fuck that, man. I wanted to own that parking lot, right? I wanted to get to a point where I could pull in that parking lot and not even think about what the hell had happened there. And that's where I'm at. I can go there now, have my coffee, check my email, and I do sometimes. And I'm focused on like what I have to do work-wise, and I'm thinking about why or what happened there because
Really?
no, man. I ride by it multiple times every day, 7 days a week. It's right by my house. I ride by it all the time. It's just another place. I mean, I remember like obviously like I got shot there, but I'm like, whatever. You know what I mean?
Damn, that's wild. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just
That's how you have to do it though.
yeah, man.
Because then you get that victim
Exposure therapy.
mentality.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exposure
exactly.
therapy,
And
man.
you become a victim, and then
Yeah.
you're always worried about it. And woe is
Yeah.
me, and then
No.
it just eats away at you.
Yeah. I didn't want
You
that,
got-
man.
no, you gotta step
I wanted to crash it head on and get it out of the way.
Take it on the chin.
I don't know if Amanda agreed with that tactic initially, but it worked for me.
Yeah.
You know, she can touch on it later if she was. But yeah. So to jump back to that, yeah, I did that and just kept doing it regularly. And now I don't go there all the time, but like every once in a while I might pop in there if I got time to kill because there's a coffee place next door. Boom, we'll pop in, have my coffee, check some emails, post my social media shit, whatever while I'm sitting there. And then the first few years, I went back there on the anniversary, the first like 3 years, like at night around that time. Just kind of like a victory lap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I would go there and just kind of think about what happened and where I'm at now and what's transpired in that time frame, like where how I've grown, how I've changed, what I've accomplished, where I failed maybe, you know, and just think about that progression.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was good for me.
Do you ever go back to that spot and look where he died?
Yeah.
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 I would.
I look at the spot where he died. I look at the spot where I was laying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far of a distance was it? How far did he make it from you?
He made it like 70 yards.
Oh, shit.
He took like 10 rounds before he went down.
Was he all like PCP'd up or something?
Nothing. Clean toxology report. A little bit of marijuana. That was it.
10 rounds, huh?
10 rounds. Went down in the middle of reload.
He was reloading?
Taurus 9mm. It was purple. Don't hold it against me.
You got shot by a purple gun?
It wasn't pink camo. It was purple.
That's even worse. That's even worse.
Fucking purple, dude.
Oh,
I
man.
always put that in my presentations when I
Insult to
speak. Like, I
injury.
got shot with a purple gun, but it wasn't fucking pink camo.
Yeah, at least it wasn't pink like mossy oak or some
Yeah,
shit.
right.
Then-
Exactly. Yeah. It was
God.
purple, though. 9mm, yeah.
That's
Taurus.
a Taurus 9mm purple.
Yeah, it was his girlfriend's gun. Yeah, he took it from her.
Damn, dude. He was reloading, huh?
Middle reloads, changing mags, and he fell out. Died right there. Yep. So he has like 70 yards, something like that. Yeah, man. Yeah, I go back there still sometimes.
What's life been like since? I mean, what was the...
Well,
I mean, night terrors. I mean, yeah, fuck, dude.
in that time frame, man. So initially, when I got home, I was home for like a month or so, maybe, and I had, from what I remember, like my first bad nightmare that like woke me up in a panic in the middle of the night, like woke her up.
Do you remember the night terrors? Was it that moment or was it a different incident?
It was a
Like,
different incident. I was
Okay.
sitting in like a patrol car, like at night, like doing paperwork, and a guy came up to me. I couldn't see the face, but he had on the same kind of clothing he had, and shot me through the windshield, or shot me through the window, and I slumped over the steering wheel, and it just like it was real in my head.
For sure.
I woke up like in a cold sweat.
Isn't it weird how you go through one traumatic incident, but then
Yeah.
your dreams or your night terrors are similar, but you're not reliving that moment. It's
Yeah.
built off of
Yeah. Yeah.
that moment.
That was the only one I had for a while.
So was it reoccurring, the same one?
I have different ones. The past few months, I started having them again.
Or
for no
like
reason.
recently?
Yeah, like in the past like couple months, like month
Really?
or two. All different instances, but all same ultimate, same ending.
Yeah.
Weird, man. I don't know.
So here's a question for you. After being shot,
Yeah.
like for vets, I mean, we have the VA and we have all the health care. I mean, I don't want to say it's the best, but what does a cop have? Like,
I had nothing. I had nothing offered to me.
so you're out here putting your life on the line, get shot 6 times, and that's it?
Yeah, I don't want to say nothing's out there, but there's nothing that was brought to my attention or offered to me.
You guys don't have...
Before you go back to duty, you have to clear a psych. I didn't go back to duty. I retired medically a year and 9 months later. I was never offered anything. I went on my own to a counselor about
Wait.
therapist about a year and a half later. Yeah. The state sent in a woman to see me in the ICU. She was like 75 years old.
Of course.
No background as a first responder, just like fucking state fucking counselor or some shit. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I just got shot 2 days ago. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like 75. What do you know?
You never went and saw a psych, or you never, nothing?
Nothing. Nope.
So you get shot, sent to rehab.
Nothing.
They're like, thanks for your service?
Yeah.
What the fuck would make anybody want to be a cop?
I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. Like I said, about a year and a half later, I went to a therapist on my own one time.
Are you paying out of pocket?
Nope. Here's the kicker. I called workers' comp. They're like, the only one we have, it's a small state. The only one we have in the state that does workers' comp is this guy, and he was in the town that I lived. I'm like, all right, well, I'll go to him.
Makes sense.
Go to this guy. Tell him why I'm there. Starts giving me his little introduction of himself, blah, 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 blah. And the first thing out of his mouth is how he doesn't believe in PTSD and it's overdiagnosed. And starts talking about Vietnam vets and shit. And I'm like, the fuck is this guy? What? So then, like, I get through my story, and it's almost like he's rushing me through it. 45 minutes, like, to the dot. He's like, all right, well, thanks for coming in. If you need anything else, let me know. Sounds like you're doing great.
You got shot and got zero help afterward.
Nope. Not for psych stuff. No, not for therapy or nothing. Nope.
That's fascinating.
Yep. No suggestions of anything from...
And they wonder why cops are killing themselves at a cyclic rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
man.
doesn't make sense to me.
Nope. So I went to that guy. It really turned me off to the whole process severely. And then, like, just recently, like a couple months ago, I started going to one again on my own just because I wanted to, like, burn someone else's ear up besides my wife and friends.
For sure.
Because we're really open in my house with communication. We have been since that day. And I have close friends. You got to have a tight circle, man. I have a tight circle that I communicate with. And I'll continue to do that. But I wanted, like, something outside, just fresh to, like, spew shit to. So I started going to a therapist again, like, a month or 2 months ago, maybe. And it's been good. You know, I just go in there. And sometimes I don't even talk about that shit. I just talk about day-to-day shit to get it off my chest. Just normal shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I had nothing to offer to me. No resources or shit, man.
That
nothing.
Blows my mind.
Yeah. I just did it on my own, man. Like, fitness is like my release, you know? And like, even then, like going through my recovery, because I was working towards a goal of running a half marathon. So like, I was concentrating on healing physically and getting to that point, you know? And at the time I was thinking about, I gotta get back to work. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are gonna hold my position on the task force? They're like, yeah, if you come back, you'll be here. I'm coming back. I'm going back. That was my thought. I'm going back to work. I might be back in 6 months. That's my path. I can get back. I get back.
And they meted you out?
Yeah, it took about a year and 9 months. I retired at about a year and 9. Well, it was like the decision was made in like a year and 9 months, and by the time I actually retired, it was almost 2 years to the day.
Well, I mean, so what was the deciding factor for you to not get back?
It was my hands. Surgeon wouldn't sign off on me.
And they can't like find a spot for you, or would you have taken it?
Nah, I wouldn't have taken that shit or anything.
Yeah,
but it didn't matter because the surgeon was like, "I'm not going to sign off on the paper, the documentation for you to be a cop. I'm not signing off on. You can no longer be a cop ever. Once I sign this paper over here, you're done." All right. So.
See, I think that's fucked. You know, I think they should.
Yeah.
If you have the will and the motivation to stay doing your job that you love, like, why can't they find something for you? Why, like, I mean, especially you being a senior guy, you're 17, 18 years in at that point.
Yeah.
Like, they can't find something in.
I didn't want anything like that anyway.
Yeah.
I want to go back to kicking doors again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I would have probably taken anything though to work my way back, but
yeah, it worked out. Especially since, you know, so two other people involved in this decision making. One, my wife, who was like, I don't want you to go back, but that's who I married. So if you do, I support you. You know what I mean? Just like she should and she would.
What a badass wife, dude.
Fucking badass.
Yeah.
And then my son, who was, you know, 7 when it happened, 8, 9. He's like, I don't want you to go back.
Yeah, rightfully
so.
so.
You know, like that. What else can you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
time to change some things up.
Yeah. So, like, as much as it hurt not to go back, when I got to tell him I wasn't going back and see how happy it made him, like, it was worth it.
Do you get full retirement?
I get a disability pension. It's like a
Is it
percentage.
worth it?
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it. I mean, I don't get like annual raises or anything. Like, this is it. You know what I mean? I mean, I would have got more in the long run if I stayed longer, probably. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. It's not terrible.
So knowing everything
Yeah.
that you know now,
Yeah.
seeing the politics side of things and your
Oh, dude.
in all of that after being shot, would you do it again? Not the situation. Would you go and do your whole career again?
I mean, I want to say, yeah, I would. It's hard to say, like, basing it on the political environment you're in now. Like, knowing what I know, I wouldn't go into this political environment and do it now. But not knowing, as someone who wants to be a cop,
Mm-hmm.
like, I probably would, because if I could go back to day one again and do that same path, I would, because I loved it.
Yeah.
I love the job. I mean, there's things about it you hate, obviously,
Job.
like any other job. But ultimately, like, I loved my job. I loved the guys I worked with. Yeah, I had a great career, man. I was very fortunate. I got to do a lot of cool shit that a lot of guys don't get an opportunity to do.
For sure.
I met some amazing fucking people, some amazing experiences. And even like the aftermath of the shooting, like the shooting happened, and it's like, you know, I am where I am today because of all that bad shit that happened, you know, being shot, losing friends to homicide, losing friends to suicide. Like, I am who I am, and I'm where I am because of all those things, good and bad, right? So, and I like who I am, and I like where I'm at, and I like my family, you know. So, like, I don't have any regrets because all that progression of all that has led me to where I am, you know, and who I'm with.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So for me to say like I wouldn't go back and do it now, I feel like that would be foolish because that would change my whole trajectory, you know.
Okay, I know we talked about it a little bit, but now that you got a son,
Yeah.
would you support him if he came home one day and was like, "Dad, I'm going to be a cop"?
I mean, I would support him. I would try to talk him out of it. And I would give him the real deal of what it is. Like, not that he doesn't know.
Yeah.
But I would really press the importance of trying other things before you get there. But now he doesn't want anything to do with that. I think he has other interests. I think, you know, he's seen all that. He went through all that shit with me.
Yep.
He's never really showed any interest in law enforcement. He likes planes. Maybe a little bit of military in him, maybe. He likes history, which is great, like normal shit, you know. I like that about him. I don't think police work's in the cards for him, but if he came to me and was like, no, I made a decision, like, I'm 21, like, I want to be a cop. All right. Well, let's talk about it and let me help you out.
For sure.
But I don't want him to do that now. Definitely don't want him to do it. But I want him to do what he's got to have his own life. He's got to have his own experiences, and he's got to do what he wants to do. And if that's part of his journey, that's part of his journey.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way I look at it. Yeah.
Wild life, man.
My life, man. I will say, like, the one thing I'm really happy about it or thankful for is that through my recovery, I made him part of that process, right? So talking about like his mental health with it, like I made him part of my healing process. So like when I got home from the hospital, you know, he was 7, getting ready to turn 8, and you know, he helped me around the house, helped me pour coffee, helped me get my leg in and out of bed. He went on runs with me because I was trying to run a half marathon. He did all these things with me.
Yeah.
And I made him part of my healing process, which I think was huge in helping him recover from it too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So communication, like I said earlier, it's huge in our house. Teamwork is huge in our house. That's one thing I'm very thankful that we're all 3 on the same page with that. So
For sure.
Yeah.
Makes life a lot easier when everyone's equally yoked and on the same page.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no regrets, man. It is
Good.
what it is. Yeah. I love it.
Life.
I'm here with you, man, because of that. You know.
Crazy.
So, yeah, man. So no complaints. Yeah, loved every minute of it.
Well, thank God there's other plans for you, huh?
Yeah.
So what's life been like now that you're out?
Well, life went on, man. I ran the half marathon.
Did you make it in the 12 months?
I ran one in 11 months. 2 weeks later, I ran another one.
Really?
A couple months after that, I did the Goggins 4x48, 48 miles. 18 months, I did a half Ironman. Last year, I did 30 days of Murph. I just try to keep pushing myself as far as I can, man. Yeah, I did it, and I just keep going as far as I can with that shit.
Good for you, dude.
like I said, man, like, fitness is, that's my mental health. That's my break. That's what I do to keep me balanced. I'm a big advocate for that, in first responder world, which I think is severely lacked, unfortunately.
Where do you see the biggest problem in the law enforcement community?
In totality, the whole biggest problem, training, budget, training. And next to that, fitness. Yeah. Training, man. Training shit.
Yeah.
Every department has some bullshit budget that, like, for instance, we have it when I was in K9, I had a K9 budget, right? For food, equipment, training, all that shit, right? I wanted to go to a K9 school one year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we don't have it in the budget. I'm like, what? How do you not have it in the budget? Like, I haven't used anything. Oh, well, the chief secretary bought new furniture and they took it out of the K9 budget. That's the kind of shit that happens in law enforcement every day. That's not just where I work. That shit happens everywhere because I hear the stories. That kind of shit happens everywhere, man. That's the problem. Priorities are the problem. I don't know, man. It's.
I hope to God, because you see these other big podcast platforms.
Yeah.
You see like Sean Ryan and Joe, and not so much Joe Rogan, but like especially I'll just use Sean Ryan because he's blown up. But like, he shines a light on a lot of like corruption, political wise, and with the CIA and all that shit.
Yeah.
I hope to God maybe someday this gets out to like how fucked our cops are. Like,
dude, you could bring any cop on this podcast, and he's going to tell you some fucked up story that has to do with administration. I don't care where they work.
You're right.
There's some fucking story.
You're right.
That'll blow your mind. I guarantee it. Everywhere, guaranteed.
Like every time I hear so, I mean,
dude,
the messages that I get, and I'm sure we'll get so much from this episode, but
yeah,
I just had one last night, and this guy wrote me this paragraph, and he was just like, and I was reading it to my wife. And
the one I messaged you, I commented on. I sent you a message yesterday. The guy was like fucking psycho, talking about wanting to fight you.
Oh no, not that
okay.
guy. Yeah, no, not that guy. That guy. No, this guy actually, like, he messaged me like he went on about just the administrative part of his job, and I'm like what? It's just mind blowing, and like,
it's wild.
How do we're I mean, law enforcement is supposed to be like the head of everything, and they're the most fucked up department.
Fucked up. They do not take care of their own in any way, shape, or form. It's like when you retire, normal, medical, whatever. When you retire, you're a number. You're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for your service. See you. Boom. Oh, you have the walkout and clap, and here's your retirement creds. Oh, gone. See you later.
Never heard from again.
Have a good life. Yep. It's wild, man. It's wild. Yeah, like my old department. I still talk to a lot of the guys there. I mean, a lot of them have retired, so it's a lot of younger guys now. It's like more than half the department is like newer guys I don't even know. So I still talk to some of the older guys there, but they're like, they have a new chief there, and like they moved into a new building after I retired. So it's like everyone's like, oh, you should come by and visit. I'm like, I don't want to come by and visit. Like, I gotta walk into the lobby, people I don't fucking know, working at the desk, a chief I don't know. Like, it's not the same. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just a number and I'm gone. You know, I've been in there a couple of times and I just don't feel like, I don't feel welcomed, really. You know what I mean? Not that people are mean. It's just like,
it's not for you anymore.
Yeah, it's just not me anymore, man. I love a lot of the guys that are still there, but
are you cool with the two guys that were with you that night?
Oh yeah,
you guys stay pretty tight.
Yeah, we stay tight. We've been on vacations together. Cool. I speak all over, but I speak at all the academies. Not all the academies in Delaware, but like Delaware State Police Academy. I speak at every one of their classes since the shooting, and they go with me and share their side of the story. Which is great because I'm fortunate. I get to travel and speak all over the place, and when I'm home and I do the academy settings, like, they get to speak with me, so it's a lot of fun to do it with them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the three of you kind of tag team it?
Yeah, tag team it for the academy. Yeah.
Were you used as an example? Did they break your scenario down in, because you when you go through certain courses, like I've been through
like a debrief?
Like a debrief, but like, hey, this is where the mistakes were made. This is where mistakes were, or this is where actions that took over were really good. Have you ever seen that side?
Yeah, there was a meeting. There was a meeting. There was a meeting held
Okay.
Where someone in the office, in this closed meeting we had, just felt that we made the wrong decision by doing it, and This is like a few months after it happened, like in front of my face, and I just lost my shit. I'm like, were you fucking there?
Did they try to pin you for anything?
Oh, you guys should have waited, and you should have done this. Monday morning cornerback, and it from a guy who's never done anything remotely close to being on patrol. He's been in the fucking office his entire career.
Every
He's going
time.
Monday morning quarterback my decisions.
Every time.
Go get fucked, dude. Get out of here.
Did you have to deal with internal affairs or anything? Was there an investigation?
Oh, internal affairs was easy because I did everything right. I had to be, I was a suspect in a homicide at that point, so I had to be interviewed by homicide as a suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Is that a weird feeling?
Oh, yeah, dude. You got to get a lawyer. You can fucking Miranda rights are read to you.
Really? Were you still in the hospital, or did they let you
So
recover?
they came and saw me in the hospital, not to question me. They were like, hey, and one of the guys on the homicide investigation unit from DSP was like one of my classmates. He's a good friend of mine.
Okay.
So they came in and saw me, and they're like, hey, we're not here for any of that. We just want to see how you're doing and let you know because you're probably thinking about it. Yes, we're going to have a talk at some point, but it doesn't have to be now. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It can be 6 months from now when you're ready. There's no rush. So they were cool.
That's cool, at least.
And then when I got home, it was like a week or two later, I was like, let's get this shit done with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I went and set up a meeting or interview to be interviewed and took my lawyer. Took like an hour or two or whatever.
Is it weird?
Oh, so weird. Sitting on the opposite side of the table and have your Miranda rights read to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very scary. Even though, like, you're going to be fine.
Still,
like, you're listed on the paper as a suspect, and the crime is homicide. It's weird.
Did you get to keep any of the bullets that they pulled out of you?
2 of them right here.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Let me see. No shit.
So you see the one that's mushroomed? That's from my femur.
The top of here?
Yeah, that's from my femur. The that one, that's like perfect. So here's the thing. So the one that's mushroom is from my femur. So the story about the one that's from that one is I had an exit wound on the back. That one, so it came in here. I had an exit wound like just below my butt cheek. Okay. So they're like, oh, it went through and through. Cool. Get home from the hospital. I'm home for like a week or two. Standing in front of the mirror one day, shirt off, look like a freaking skeleton, and I have like a lump here, and I'm like, oh man, I'm learning how to walk, and I got a hernia. Fuck. I go to the doctor. She's like, that's not a hernia. You got some kind of foreign object in there, and I was like, dude, no way. Bullet. So the exit wound on the back of my leg was bone fragments that shot out. Part of my femur shot out the back of my.
They never found this while it was lodged.
I went back and looked at the original X-rays. You could see it in my abdomen. Yeah, they never got.
And what about this one?
So that one, I call that the magic bullet, dude. So I asked the doctor. I was like, how did that happen? He's like, I don't know. I wasn't there. It's a good answer. So one of the rounds of my right arm actually came in like under my armpit.
Okay.
Like and down. It traveled down my bicep and lodged in my elbow. So the thing is, you're a bad guy. I'm here and I'm moving this way. So how did it come in there, right? So the thought is probably when my leg got hit, I must have spun. And as I spun, it came in from behind. Someone else was like, well, maybe he shot you when he ran by you. Well, one, I was under the car. And two, if he would have shot me when he ran by me, it would have went through my arm, not
For sure.
perfectly down my bicep. My arm had to be extended, right? And it didn't come from my partners because one was there and one was there. So the theory is at some point when I got hit, I spun around and caught one coming in directly behind me.
I'm not gonna lie, this is fucking badass.
Yeah. So that one got dug out of my elbow.
You get to. What about the one that was in your face? You didn't get to keep it.
Now that one's in evidence. I wanted to get that one back. I never asked for it.
You should.
I was asking for everything. I would say I still have it, but
Fuck yeah.
So
That's insane.
yeah, dude. So that one dug out of my elbow. That one dug out of my femur or out of my abdomen right here. Actually, my body like was pushing it out. It started to like bulge. And then I still had like some shrapnel in here. Like I plucked a piece out like a month ago, like a little tiny piece of bullet fragment plucked out. And I still have like stuff in there. You can like feel it. It hurts sometimes a little bit. Like when I lay on my right side, I could feel it. It's a little uncomfortable, but you get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
So the bullets. So once I had to get them taken out, I got it all scheduled. Went into surgery, and the surgeon came in, who did all my shit. And I was like, "Hey, dude, when you get them out, Can you keep them for me? And he was like, I'm not supposed to give you things back I take out of you. Plus, it's evidence. Like, I got to give it to the state police. And I was like,
Yeah, fuck that.
bro, this was like a few months ago. The guy's dead. Like, there's no trial. They don't even know I'm here. Right? It's all good.
Just give you the bullets.
And he was like, I'll tell you what. When you come in for your follow-up in a couple weeks, I'll have them for you. Don't tell the nurses. I was like, okay. Sure enough, dude, I go back in 2 weeks. He got in a plastic bag, put it right on his desk. Boom, here you go. I was like, you're the fucking man, dude. And like a week later, I took it to a local jeweler and was like, do something cool with this. She was like, all right, dude. Yeah.
All right, that's okay.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
At least you got a cool souvenir. out
Yeah,
of it,
man.
bro.
Yeah. So I got that. I got my vest. I got my weapon back. I got all that shit back. Yeah,
Good.
my gun belt. I got all that shit. Yeah. It was
Damn,
cool.
dude.
They're like, you want it? And I was like, yeah, I want it, man. I want it. It's part of history now.
Would you not?
Yeah, why not?
Oh
Right.
yeah.
So if you watch some of my Instagram videos, you'll like at my desk, you'll see it behind me. Sometimes my vest is right there. Sometimes you'll see it on there. Yeah. So there it is.
Oh shit, man.
Yeah.
You were one lucky dude.
Yeah, man, to say the least. But and that's what I just enjoy life, man. I enjoy traveling and speaking, and I do some online coaching with mindset and stuff. I like doing that stuff. We just started a home defense consulting company that we're just getting rolling out. So that's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Yeah, man, we just try to do some different stuff, think outside the box a little bit. Yeah.
You got a hell of a mindset, dude. It's pretty awesome
Appreciate it,
talking
man.
to you. Like
Appreciate
a lot
it,
of,
man.
I've dealt with a lot. Even with our organization, we have a law enforcement program in it
Yeah.
that helps get officers training.
Yeah.
And it's our Project Blue Lion, and man, mindset's everything.
It's everything, dude.
Everything.
Everything. And like I said before, man, like it all comes down to acceptance, dude. If you can't accept whatever it is you're dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be able to move on with any purpose, man.
And like the guy that you brought up to the Facebook or
Yeah.
the Instagram comment. But you saying that this is where I feel we are doing a disservice to the law enforcement and veteran community.
Yeah.
And I have an organization, man. We're over 11 years old now,
Yeah.
and we've done incredible things.
Yeah.
But the problem
Yeah.
is a lot of these cops and a lot of athletes, a lot of veterans,
Yeah.
we peak in those careers. We peak in college. We peak in our military career.
Yeah.
And then we get out, and all of these vets, I don't know, I'm just not speaking for everybody, but a huge chunk of them, that's where their mindset is, and it never leaves that place. So then when they get out, now it's, I'm a disabled veteran. I got to go to the VA all the time, and
Yeah.
woe is me, woe is me.
Yeah.
And then with these charities, what I'm seeing and kind of feel like is that now a lot of these charities are almost enabling these vets, and it's
Yeah.
like, hey buddy, oh, you're struggling again?
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
Right.
No, nobody's focused on changing the fucking mindset
Right.
of these veterans
Yeah.
or law enforcement or anybody. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care if you did 20 years in a career, like
Right.
that's your identity. And
Yeah, man.
I think what we have to do now as a society and really start shifting gears, changing the mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like some David Goggins, oh, you're a bitch, you don't
Yeah,
get up
right.
for it and run. Like,
Yeah.
that's not for me.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
Yeah.
But man, I'm going to really focus on being a better father.
Right.
I'm going to focus on him being irritable, and I want to focus in more quality time with my wife and
Yeah.
spending and communicating and building our relationship.
Right.
But instead, we're like stuck in this woe is me.
Yeah.
I'm a disabled veteran. I'm disgruntled. That's all you're ever going to fucking be.
Yeah, man.
And it's like, it's cool, dude. You served your country, first responders, veteran, whatever, military.
Yeah.
Dude, awesome.
Yeah.
I commend anybody that wants to give back to in any way. Nurses, doc, whatever.
Yeah.
But when that job is done,
Yeah.
like, where are we evolving to? But I feel like in these communities, nobody's evolving. It's just
Yeah.
we're stuck there. We're stuck being a number. We're stuck being a statistic. Oh, 22 vets a day are killing themselves. If this has been going on for the last 20 years, what the fuck is going,
Yeah.
like, what do we do different?
Obviously, something's not working.
I just saw the other day, like 5 cops in Texas killed themselves.
Yeah, man.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
It's wild.
right?
Lack of resources sometimes, you know. People don't want to talk. I know, I can't speak for military, but like law enforcement, like guys are afraid to say shit because they don't want to lose their jobs over it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Then you're labeled.
You're labeled. You're a hazard. You're a liability.
Then something happens, it's on the PD, and you're
Right,
out. Then
exactly.
then everybody you seeing everybody's kind of turning away. You're not getting.
I know guys that have started that process, man. And first thing that happens when they put the paperwork in, oh, we gotta go to his house, get his car, and his ID and his gun. Boom, gone. You just strip them, like right then and there, of their entire identity that they've had their entire life.
Whole life, 20 years, 30, whatever it is.
Yep. All because they said, "I'm good over here. But I just need some help. I need to talk to somebody." And it's like, oh, all your shit's gone.
And what blows my mind about the law enforcement, you take us as military. We do these workups, we deploy, we come home. Cops are in this shit every single day, 24/7, 365 days a day.
20 years.
20 years you're on.
Yeah.
You're on. Every time you put that uniform on, when you walk out and you say goodbye to your wife, say goodbye to your son, you're on. But then the second you're like, yo, dude, I'm struggling. Like, I just had to zip up a little kid in a body bag. Boom, you're labeled.
Yeah. Not only are you on, but you're on when you're off duty. Because most cops
you're working in your you got shot.
Live in or near where they work.
You got shot 10 minutes from your house.
Yeah.
Now you're at a restaurant. You got to fucking look over your shoulder.
Yeah. Dude, like a month ago, I went into a store to find my son a new winter coat. Walk in, first guy I see, guy put in jail for drugs.
Yeah. And they expect us to like just, and they wonder, oh, I don't know why men are just killing themselves and depression. You can't say anything because then you're labeled.
Labeled, man. Yep. Especially in a profession like that, you're like you're big time labeled. You're marked as a
never
problem.
saw it coming. Never saw it coming because he couldn't say anything.
Yep.
So he goes home and buries it in a fucking bottle of liquor.
That's the other thing, man. Like, oh, I never, like, the whole like I never saw it coming thing. Like, you know, I had a shift mate who took his life, and everyone was like, I never saw it coming, and I'm like, yeah, you did. We all did. Me too. I'm not excluding myself from that. You know, I saw it coming. I just didn't. Not say you saw it coming, but you knew something was off.
Yeah.
And you're like, ain't my business. He'll work it out.
We're men. It'll be fine. He'll get through it
out. Yeah. It's the way it is, man. You know what I mean? But I feel like most of the time that's the case. People did see it probably, but no one wants to acknowledge that they saw it. I feel like for me, that's what it was. I'm not saying it's like that for everybody, but I feel like it's like that more than often.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people just don't want to admit that they had a sense of something because of the guilt.
For sure. It's easier to say, I didn't. Oh, I never would have expected that guy to do it.
I had a sense of something. I'll tell you right now, I regret it every day not saying anything, but nothing I can do about it. But I feel like that's overlooked a lot. I think guys don't want to own up to that. Nobody wants to say anything. It's not my business. I don't want to get involved. I don't know, man. It's sad. It's terrible. I don't really have an answer for any of it. It's just, I feel like that whole situation is just mass chaos. But nobody has an answer for it. Yeah. And nobody knows which way to go with it.
You're doing a shitty job for shitty pay.
Yeah.
And you can't say anything about it when you're struggling because then you're labeled.
Yep.
And then you're shadowed and you're kind of forced out.
Yeah, man.
You're damned if you do. You're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
And then that
forced out, and then what happens then? Transition.
And then you're home.
Sucks because your identity's gone and you don't know what to do. Like for me, I speak from my own personal experience. I was a cop for 19 years, 21. Started the academy, retired medically when I was 40.
It's your whole life.
My whole life. Get out, and I'm like,
now what?
No, what am I going to do? I'm not a cop anymore. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do now? I don't know anything else. You know what I mean? It's fucking scary.
See, and that's the point where we need to start focusing on is now what?
Yeah.
Not, oh, hey, you're disabled, or hey, you just thanks for your service. We're going to send you on a trip, or we're going to do this for you. We're customize it. Now what? Okay, cool, dude. Let's start lining up goals. Let's start lining up potential jobs or starting a business, or where do you lack in your life? Where do you struggle? What can we make better? That's at the point where I feel we're missing so much because now it's just focused on the past and their disabilities or what you've been through.
Yeah.
Cool. We've been talking about this for 20 fucking years.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were in Afghan for 20 years and
nothing's been done.
Nothing's changed. Cool, dude. Thanks for your service. I appreciate all the deployments you did. I appreciate and all the sacrifices you made for this country. Cool.
Yeah.
That job's done.
Yeah.
Now what?
See you.
Now what? And there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Hang your placards, fly your fucking flag, be prideful of what you did to serve your country, and no matter what.
Yeah.
What's next? And I feel a lot of people get into that groove, and that's their identity. It's the varsity football quarterback wearing his Letterman jacket 20 years later. That to me is what the veteran community, at least veteran community, that's what a lot of these guys are. It's like,
and that's the thing, man. Like when you get out of the military, you get out of like the first responder world, like that's really where the grind starts, man.
yeah,
That's really where the grind fucking starts.
yeah.
Because now you're like, it's almost like you're starting over. You are starting over.
But then we're told, oh, it's so hard. I mean, this is another thing that kind of bugs me about when you guys get out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, dude, civilians couldn't cut it, and civilians couldn't never do it. The military. It's like, bro, you're struggling and living in a civilian world.
Yeah. Exactly.
If civilians are so weak, why are you fucking struggling?
Yeah.
Why are you, is your marriage falling apart? Why don't you have a relationship with your kids? If it's so easy, civilians could do it.
Yeah.
You know, we knock on that. It's because the mindset. Like
Yeah.
these guys are so focused. Like, oh, I'm such a hard motherfucker. I did all these deployments, Afghan, Iraq, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. That was your job.
Right. It's not who you are.
Not who you are
anymore.
Not who you are anymore.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. But I think if we're constantly talking about it. We're constantly living in that moment, which is cool. That's how you vent and you can clear things. But how do we move forward?
Yeah. It's tough, man. Like I always tell guys now, the younger guys, like, what other interest do you have? Find it.
Find it. Start a side hustle.
Find some interest. Side hustle. Or start learning something that you have interest in. That way, when the time comes, you know what you're going to do. You know, I didn't do any of that. I was like, I'm a cop. I'm in it to win it. I don't know how many years I'm going to do it. Boom, I'm having fun. Da, 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 da. And like when I got shot, I was in my latter years, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I should have had a game plan. I didn't have shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was like, and then nearly 2 years of recovery. And then it was like, yo, you're not going back to work. And I was like, oh.
Now what?
Hey, the last 2 years, I should have added in. What was I going to do if I didn't go back? So then that's when I started doing. Well, I was doing public speaking during my recovery, just like doing it for free because I was on workers' comp.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into more. I was doing it for free. So then I started getting into some conferences and speaking at conferences, and I still do that. I'm trying to build that as I go, but you know, I'm adding in some other things like, you know, the home defense consulting, adding that in. We started a nonprofit during my recovery, the Fit for Duty Foundation, where we sponsor police officers in like CrossFit or functional fitness.
Oh, cool.
To get them going like in a healthy path, right?
Mm-hmm.
To get them started on their journey to a healthy mindset, healthy
Cool.
body. So we enjoy that. We have that going. And just trying to find new things to do, man, outside the box thinking. You know, I've been locked in that law enforcement, first responder world for fucking 20 years.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to be my own boss for a while. You know what I mean?
It's fun.
Yeah, because now it's like going back to the whole family thing. Like, I get to schedule what I want to do when I want to do it. You know, like coming out here, flying across the country to come on your podcast. Bring my wife and my son with me, dude. Like,
I'm very
it's a family
grateful you
trip,
came
man.
out. Yeah.
You know, it's a family trip, you know? Come out here, spend time with you, meet your family. Like, it's awesome, man. Meeting new people, new experiences, trying new things. And my son gets to see all that. Like, for me, that's great. You know, I love it. And so I love where I'm at. I'm not happy about what happened, but in a weird way, like I kind of am because like
Life,
it's
man.
where
Those are
I'm at.
cards we were dealt.
Yeah, man. You know, it is what it is. You know, I wouldn't change anything, dude. I love everything about my life. You know, I have my struggles sometimes, like everyone else. I'm no different.
Human.
You know, I'm human. Yeah, I have things I have to get better at too all the time. You know, that's part of life. Adversity, man. You know, but no complaints, dude. I love my life. I love everything about it. My wife and I have the best relationship we've ever had since then, you know? Yeah, man, I just love it. I just love it, man. My whole thing is I want guys to start thinking outside the box a little more and focus. Even the guys who are on the job, like if you're staying on a job, fine, but like you need to reevaluate your priorities. Like, because guys get sucked in on that job, man. It's like me, like, oh,
it becomes their identity.
yeah, well, it's like the night I got shot. It was like I got home for dinner finally one night, and it's like, oh, I'm going back out to do surveillance real quick. Oh, I'm going to go back out and get this guy. I'll be home in an hour or two, and you know? You just do it, you know? And looking back, I'm like, would I change that? I don't know, but definitely going forward, I'm changing that kind of lifestyle, you know?
Yep.
So, yeah, man, that's it. That's it for me.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming out here and sharing your story.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, dude. It's been awesome. I had a great time.
Badass. Yeah, this was great.
Yeah, man, I love it.
It's wild.
Yeah, man. Shit takes you. Life will take you in some crazy places.
If you let it.
If you let it. Yep. If you let it. That's right. Enjoy the ride, man. Good and the bad, you gotta enjoy it.
That's how we live our life, man. We just buckle up and
Enjoy the ride, man.
enjoy it.
Love it.
It's a great country. There's a million things to do and
Yep.
a million things to see and experience, and
Yeah.
you just gotta go do it.
Yep. I agree, man.
Well, cool, man.
Yeah, thanks for
dude.
having me on, brother. I appreciate you.
Bro, I am so glad.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we're sending you home with a loaf. I didn't know
love
if
it.
I pitched the sour bee from the kids, but yeah.
My son will eat that before we get to the house.
We're going to send you some good ones. We're going to send you a chocolate loaf that has Nutella in it,
Nice.
and then we'll send you the pizza one. So
Pizza one, dude. I like it.
I think you could say it slaps.
Is that what you say? No, you know what I'm saying? What do you say?
I don't.
No, you don't. He doesn't. I don't say that. Cool. Yeah, right.
I got to get taught all this stuff now.
That's cool, man.
He's like, Mom, stop embarrassing me.
You're not being cool, man.
You're not cool, Mom. God.
Oh,
Thanks,
man.
dude.
Nah,
I
love it,
appreciate your
bro.
time, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.